especially Caitlin Clark as well. I mean, these are your generational players, you know, and to have this controversy, it just doesn't.
Hunters, where the true target is the truth of the gospel. Watch Twin Factor Wednesdays and weekends on theDove TV, encouraging and informative. Good morning. You're tuned to theDove, encouraging and informative, helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on theDove.
Well, good morning to you. Hey, happy Friday. Welcome to Mornings on theDove. Paulina is here.
Good morning. Last day of July.
Oh, it is, isn't it? That's right. Last day of the week, last day of July, and it took us 4 days to get here.
And we are here. Thank you for joining us. Good morning. Wakey, wakey.
Yeah.
Time to get up.
Okay. Yeah, get up. It's 6 o'clock.
Yes.
Except for those of you that see this on the repeat, it'll be 9 o'clock.
Well, time to get up for sure.
Time to get up for sure.
Yeah. Well, and if you're looking for something to eat today and need ideas, it is National Avocado Day. That healthy little thing. America consumes billions of avocados each year, with guacamole and avocado toast helping fuel the fruit's popularity. Fun fact, avocados are technically a fruit, specifically a berry. And they're loaded with healthy fats and fiber. You like avocados?
Yep, and my brother is an avocado farmer.
Ooh,
Yep.
I need to meet your brother.
He
More
grows
avocados in my life.
avocados. He is really quite the operation. And I could go off on this, but
Is it a hard thing to do?
well, it's like any other farming thing. You have to really be on top. Farmers, like everybody thinks farmers are just people out there in the field, standing out there staring at the sky. It's delicate. You got to watch things. You got to take care of them. You got to. But he has quite the avocado operation in Hawaii.
Oh wow!
And he's on the Big Island. And ships, well, actually, the island, not the island, the islands, plural, buy all of his avocados.
Does he ship to the
he can't ship to the United States. He can't ship to California. And there's a reason for that, is because the avocado industry in California is primarily controlled by the cartel.
Wow.
And so, but his avocado, and he grows 3 sizes. He grows the little ones like this, which are for oil. Then the ones you would see, like that picture there, that size, so probably the one that you'd see in the store.
Like a medium?
Yeah, like about that size, okay. And then he grows the big gourmet ones that they use for like fancy places and things like that are about the size of a, I don't know, small football. But anyway, yeah, avocados. Wow. Avocados are us.
Those are cool. I like them. I like avocados. You do too, right?
Do you have avocado toast? Do you ever have it?
I've had it. It's not why I like avocados. I usually like avocados in the form of guacamole or in my salads. I think it's a really nice touch.
Yep.
Okay, National Raspberry Cake Day. So dessert as well celebrated today. Raspberries have been enjoyed for more than 2,000 years and are packed with vitamin C and antioxidants. And whether it's a cheesecake, coffee cake, classic layer cake, today's a good excuse to enjoy some raspberry sweet something, although it is National Raspberry Cake Day.
Oh,
so,
that does look good.
Sweet and tart.
Yeah.
And then finally, let me mention this one. Today's National Talk in an Elevator Day. Holiday that encourages us to break the awkward silence during those few short seconds, maybe a minute, depends on how high you're traveling in an elevator. Are you a talker when it comes to elevators, or you just stand there and stare at your feet?
Depends. You know what I do if I get in an elevator and I'm standing where the buttons are? I ask people what floor they'd like, and they say, oh, 3, and I go, oh, well, that's sporting goods.
Of course you have to do that.
And they go, well, we'd like 4. Oh, that's housewares.
So, okay, so you have a little humor with people in an elevator.
Yeah,
I grew up in an apartment building with an elevator, so that was, elevator to me was just a regular mode of
transportation.
Going to my apartment, and when it didn't work, then we would have to take the stairs.
Wow.
12 flights.
Wow.
And it often didn't work. In fact, when we moved into our apartment building, it was 1987. The elevator weren't working yet, elevators. So we had to carry all the furniture and
groceries.
Well, obviously, yeah, but the piano. Those guys who had to carry the piano to the 12th floor, it was something.
Oh,
so anyway, it's
really?
Yeah.
How old were you?
87, I was 5.
5.
Mm-hmm. But I remember the big move-in where furniture has to be carried. Wow. And I think they've tried to do some of it by, what do we call, like you throw the ropes over the balcony and then you tie some things and you pull them up. But I think you can only do it with certain items.
Well, you can't do it with a piano.
Yeah. And it's still there. My mom's selling the apartment, but she's like, the piano stays. You guys, the apartment comes with the piano. Yep. Okay, that's it.
Wow,
that's what we're celebrating.
Wow. Well, we're going to go slice some avocados while we check out the weather.
Perfect.
Here's a look at today's weather from Grange Co-op. Across northern Oregon and southern Washington, sunny skies with daytime highs in the upper 80s for Vancouver, Portland, Wilsonville, and McMinnville. Lows tonight settle back into the upper 50s to low 60s. Through the Willamette Valley, clear sunny conditions continue as temperatures climb in Salem with a high of 89, Albany 88, Corvallis 87, and down through Eugene near 89. Patchy smoke through central Oregon, then sunny and 95 for Prineville, while Bend and Sun River both top out at 93. In Boise, smoky before turning sunny and hot with a high of near 100. Along the Oregon coast, patchy fog gives way to sunshine in Coos Bay with a high of 72. Sunny skies continue in Port Orford near 70, while Brookings and Crescent City turn mostly sunny into the low to mid 60s. In southern Oregon, sunny and hot conditions persist with highs in the upper 90s for Grants Pass and Medford. Ashland and Klamath Falls top out in the mid 90s under clear sunny skies. Across northern California, sunny and hot in Wairika near 98. Redding climbs to 104, and Chico tops out at 101 with a slight south wind. Over in Fort Bragg, sunny in the mid-60s this afternoon. In the Bay Area, sunny skies with highs in the low 90s for Santa Rosa and 89 in Napa. San Francisco is cooler in the mid-70s, while San Jose sees a daytime high of 90. Triple digits, sunny and hot across central California with highs near 100 in Sacramento, Stockton, and Modesto. Fresno, Visalia, and Bakersfield climb to a high of 104 with lows in the low 70s. That's a look at your Friday weather from Grange Co-op.
Well, look, you almost think that's the same picture we had yesterday. Well, guess what? It is, but still live picture. And the sun will come up between those two trees. And beautiful day in the neighborhood. I was outside walking around, a little cool this morning, which is kind of refreshing. You know.
What are you going to do in the winter when all that is dark? Oh, can you still see a little bit of light?
Well, you'll see the glow, but the sun is slowly moving now to the right. So sooner or later, it'll be over by the big tree, and then it'll be behind the mountain, then it'll be on the right side of the mountain.
How lovely.
Yeah. So it's just a beautiful shot. We're working on another shot that hopefully I can get that squared away. That gives it a little bit better perspective. So we'll see.
Okay, well, here to give us a better perspective on what it is to be born again is Billy Graham.
Now, the Holy Spirit not only convicts, but He gives new life. The Bible says that we're dead in sins. Do you realize that you're a walking dead person? You're dead toward God. You're spiritually dead. Your soul is dead. Your spirit is dead. Your body is alive, but you're dead. The real you is dead. Now, what needs to be done for a dead person? He needs to be made alive. And that's the work of the Holy Spirit, to make you alive. Jesus said you must be born again. And that word actually means to be made born from above. Born from above. Born by the Spirit of God. You see, man without God is dead. And life is at best a bore. Except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. Have you been born again? It means born from above. And Jesus said it to a religious leader, a person who's more religious than most anyone here tonight, Nicodemus, a professor of theology. And he said, you need to be born again, Nicodemus. And I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk in my statutes, and you shall keep my judgments and do them, God says through Ezekiel. He dwelleth with you and shall be in you, Jesus said in this 14th chapter of John. Know ye not that you're the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? The Holy Spirit comes to live within you. And when you receive Christ tonight, the Holy Spirit will come to live in you to help live the Christian life in you and through you. He also empowers us for service. But ye shall receive power. After that, the Holy Ghost has come upon you, and ye shall be witnesses unto me.
Well, there's the typical Graham gospel in a nutshell. Yeah. That's pretty much it.
Have a good day.
Have a nice day, but you know, you accept it or reject it. Kind of interesting. All right, 10 minutes past the hour. Let's take a look at some of the top stories, and there's a couple of them that is so interesting that kind of broke out over the evening. Apparently, there has been some kind of a major announcement that has been made that there's a breakthrough in Gaza with Hamas agreeing to disarm. Now, this is interesting. The president's announced that there is going to be a complete, or they have reached an agreement for a complete disarmament of Hamas, calling it a critical step towards the new Palestinian government in Gaza. So apparently, there's quite a few countries involved in this. You have groups of other people putting together what they call the peace group, and they have decided that they are going to, well, who are they? The Board of Peace. It's Egypt, Qatar, Turkey, putting together a new Palestinian government, the president said. So apparently Hamas will disarm. These governments, along with the Peace Board, of which the United States is involved, obviously, they were apparently accepting the president's original 10-point plan to create a new Palestinian government inside Gaza. And then as this new government comes into power and Hamas disarms, then there will be some kind of a group of police people made up from other countries to see that this holds and that Israel slowly withdraws. Well,
interesting.
It is very interesting, and you know what? I hope it works. But this is something that really has to be tested, and we'll see in time. I don't know what to say about this. The president's really quick to announce it yesterday. I haven't heard a peep. I went online this morning. I looked all over. I couldn't find a comment from Israel. Mm-hmm. So we'll see where this goes. The president is, you know, pretty quick to get out in front of something like this and say, we made a deal. Okay. Now this is apparently going to happen over a period of time.
Well, if it is fully implemented, this will be the first time when Hamas actually committed to disarmament and has done that. They've been controlling Gaza, or they've been in Gaza since 2007, so that's a pretty long time. Mm-hmm. And it is just kind of shocking to see them, after almost 20 years, to agree to this arrangement. I wonder what was offered to them, because also remember, they are designated a terrorist organization.
Yes.
In the United States.
I don't know. These are all the unanswered questions.
But I'm glad to see that there is negotiation and diplomacy working, and I'm hoping that's the case.
Yeah, I
Egypt
hope it
and
works
Qatar
too.
involved, maybe they have some strings they can pull.
The essence of this is Hamas came in and took over the government of Gaza, and the Palestinians elected Hamas under all of these pretenses that it was going to be a good deal. The Palestinians then woke up and realized, no, we just elected a totalitarian government that's a terrorist organization, and they were stuck since 2007 up until this past year and a half or so. So can they take Hamas out of the equation and let the Palestinians create their own government inside Gaza? Now, here's another problem that needs to be dealt with. This is now would be an official two-state solution to Israel. Gaza and Hamas was a test two-state solution, and it failed. If Hamas is taken out and the Palestinians are allowed to come back in and create their own government, now you have two states within Israel. That could be a problem for the Knesset. We'll have to wait and see.
but you hope it works.
Well, you know, the first thing I want to see is the peaceful Palestinians have a chance to life again. And this would be the door for that to happen. And it certainly wipes out all the criticisms of people who think that somehow the Palestinians have been mistreated. They haven't been mistreated at all. They've been taken care of. Now, they've been isolated, don't get me wrong, but they are also being mistreated under Hamas. And so this will give them a chance to come back in and create their own government if they have the means and the will to do that. And if this so-called peace committee, for the lack of anything else, can maintain this. What do you do with Hamas? What do you do with it? You take their guns away and say, sit down and have a nice day?
Right. Do they just become an army within a government that's...
I don't know. So,
I don't know.
Anyway.
Do you think Israel would go for it? Do you think Israel would go for it, for a two-state solution in a way?
See, that's what I don't know. I looked all around when the story broke yesterday. I even tracked it last night and early this morning. I can't find a direct response from Israel. I guess it'll pop up today.
Yeah, maybe CBN has something.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you think Israel will go for it? I think Israel will say, we'll see. That will be their position. All right, well, in the meantime, as you know, the president has, he's increased the attacks on Iran in various ways, and Iran said now that they will, quote, harshly deal with U.S. allies in the area. They've already tried to fire missiles into Jordan. Now they're looking at all the other surrounding countries that would be friends of America that they want to start firing missiles into. The problem here is that we've heard these threats before. Secondly, we also know that Iran is rapidly running out of armament. And so I guess it's just a psychological war. Part of this is psychological warfare. We're going to get you. We're going to come after you. We're going to beat you up. Well, okay, what do you have left to do that with? And what are you gaining by bombing your neighbors when Saudi Arabia has agreed now to maybe get involved in some of this? So it's kind of another twist. The Middle East is so confusing. Wow.
It is. And Kuwait and Jordan, they've been our allies for a while too. We don't hear much about those two countries. You know, usually you know, there's Saudi Arabia and Israel, the bigger kind of players. But Kuwait, both Kuwait and they've hosted our military. They've been allies in the Middle East. So, yeah. Like you said, it's complicated. We just have to wait.
It is. And I think some of this is, you know, America doesn't think generationally anymore. We respond generationally, but we don't plan generationally. Most all other countries do. China is very good at thinking, you know, decades down the road, and so does the Middle East. And I think part of the Middle East thinking is, well, Trump will be gone in 18 months. You know, we'll just wait this out.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and another thing we forget here in the United States is geography of it all. You know, it's easy to tell people you should do this, you should do that, but when you're a neighbor to one of these countries, your thinking changes. When you know that, you know, I'm thinking about Russia, for example, the way they've been dealing with Iran and Middle East, and they get criticized, but when that country borders your neighbor or borders your people, you have to think differently about negotiations and
the one I
feelings.
don't understand is guitar. I don't understand guitar. Guitar is, and even Saudi Arabia. Now, Saudi Arabia, most of the 9/11 people came out of Saudi Arabia. Guitar is one of the great bankrolls for terrorism around the world, and yet we have a military base there. We just accepted a temporary Air Force One from them, and we're going to build civilian nuclear power plants with them. It's just kind of like...
It's a beautiful country, though.
It is.
My mom flew through Qatar last year when she came.
Yeah.
And even though she didn't go outside, but she was at the airport, and it was clean, beautiful, pristine, very welcoming. They're very conservative, so, you know, it was very interesting to see the videos of that. So.
All right, those are some of the top stories on a beautiful Friday morning that you can go out and have avocado toast today if you want. Though if Jerry's here, he makes that all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he'll
Well, that's
bring in
why
an
he's
avocado,
so
he'll
healthy.
slice it up, he'll put it on a piece of toast. Sometimes he puts some hot sauce on it. Sometimes he just puts some salt on it. So,
Yeah, avocado toast actually does sound good.
okay, we'll be right back.
When life feels heavy, your body feels it, your mind feels it. That is why I created Organic Elements Wellness Spa, a place where wellness is not a luxury, it's a way of life. Step into our wellness lounge with a Himalayan salt room, infrared sauna, steam room, and invigorating cold plunge. Restore your nervous system, detox your body, and clear your mind. Then experience customized massage, advanced skin therapies, and result-driven facials, all designed to help you look as good as you feel. There's nothing else like this in Southern Oregon. This is your space to heal, to reset, to glow. Call today to book your private wellness party for up to 15 guests or surprise someone special with a gift certificate.
Visit Organic Elements Wellness Spa on East Main Street in Medford. Book online at organicelementspa.com. Wellness is wholeness. Voted best of Southern Oregon.
Friday, a baby born at 23 weeks.
She has a slim chance to live.
She spends the next 3 months fighting for her life.
Is she going to survive all of this?
What happened when she coded?
No life. Everything's flatline.
And the miracle that brought her back.
We have a pulse, and he literally brings my baby back to life. You can call Jesus if you can get him on the line.
Friday on the 700 Club, right here on the Dove TV.
If you don't drive it, donate it. By supporting us, you'll get even more mileage out of it.
Thank you from the Dove TV.
Welcome back. 22 minutes past the hour on a beautiful Friday morning. Paulina's here. We were talking about avocado toast. You want some?
I do. Do you? Or you're not a avocado toast?
No, I like avocados. Yeah, I don't eat them like Jerry does. I think he'd eat them raw, even with the skin on them, if he could. He'd bite into them like an apple or something. You know.
No, they're good. I like them too.
Yeah, so it's good. By the way, the other night, Peggy said, "You want to go pick some peaches?" It was in the evening, and I go, "Really?" Yeah. So we went out.
You're half asleep.
Well, I was eyeballing the bed there. So we went out. You had to get out there before 7. They closed at 7. And it's a peach farm out there on Pioneer Road in town. So we went out there, and they direct you through the orchard, And so she wanted some peaches for a peach pie, and some peaches. In fact, there's a couple sitting on the counter over there. Mm-hmm. So I literally stood at one tree and 2 branches, and I didn't pick them all off.
Really? That many?
The place is loaded with them, and you have to get them now because they're in season, So came back, and so last night she fixed the peach pie. Oh, my stars. It was over the top.
Shame on you for telling me this now.
Okay, but let me tell you one other thing. So when we got home from that little event, I said, "Hey, do we have any vanilla ice cream?" And she goes, "Yes." And I go, "Oh, okay." So peeled off a peach and sliced it all up and put it in the blend at the bottom of this little blender machine. Put the ice cream on top of that with a little milk and made a peach.
Drooling.
Oh, made a peach.
Peach milkshake.
Oh, gosh, it was
your dinner?
Oh, gosh, it was just over the top.
Wow.
Okay, why is that?
Well, now I want to go pick peaches.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Anyway, some backyard news. The peaches are ripe. Go to Talent, and you got.
Southern Oregon has the best peaches.
They really do. And this little place, they guide you in, and then they guide you down the little roads around the orchard, and then they direct you to almost to a tree. But
and then you pay per pound.
You pay per pound. But yeah, and they have other things. Flowers everywhere. Gosh, this place got acres of flowers. It's really cute. But if you go there. I wouldn't put it off because they're in season and they're falling on the ground like crazy, and you got to go get them. So, all right, backyard news. First of all, the fires out on the east side in Central Oregon and Northeastern Oregon and out in Eastern Oregon, they're still got some serious problems out there. 1.5 million acres have been or are burning in the state of Oregon. A lot of those big fires out on the east side, they are getting a handle on them, but they still got a lot of smoke problems. And if you're in the area, you really know what's going on. So our thoughts and prayers are with you. We have some of the fire bombers are here on the field, and they go here in service over there, even though Redmond is a place as well where they fly out of. So a lot going on. The other news is we're heading towards an election. Midterm election, and in our own backyard, coming up on October 7th, at Wednesday, October 7th, at KOBI Channel 5, the NBC affiliate here in Southern Oregon, Patsy and her crew there, have announced that they will be having a gubernatorial debate with Governor Tina Kotek and looks like Christine Drazen, and they will have a debate there in the studio. As we speak, Christine Drazen is 4% ahead of Tina Kotek. Now, this is big. It shows you the sentiment of the state is shifting. And with all due respect, I think our governor has really been I want to say this respectfully, and I'm not trying to be political, but when you just look at it pragmatically from the legislature to what she's tried to do in her short term or her first term, it's been a disaster. When you try to pass a $15 billion tax hike and you cut it down to $4 billion and call that a success when you're really trying to pay a $350 million bill, the whole thing just blew up in her face. And what really makes it bad for her is that the citizens rose up against all odds and got a ballot measure to stop this thing. And she tried one more trick by moving it from the general election to the primary election, and they still said no. So she is going into re-election with a huge defeat there. The education scores for Oregon are national lows. Mm-hmm. We're like 50, 49, 48 in some of these things, really bad. So she doesn't have a good record. Here comes Christine, her second run at being governor, who really gets it, understands it. She's been in the House, she's been in the Senate, she understands budgeting, this and that. And it looks like we could have a change in Oregon.
Which would be historic. Since
it would be historic.
1987, we haven't had a Republican governor. Let me ask you this question. Democrats are very loyal, and they show up and they vote. Do you think these few issues like the gas tax, yes, they voted against it, but is that enough for them to actually vote for an R? Because with an R, Republican, a package of other issues will be introduced that most Democrats disagree with.
Well, what's your question?
Is it enough for Democrats to actually vote for Christine? Those who would usually be so loyal that regardless of all the mess that she created, they would vote for her.
Let's deal with the other reality. Both parties, Democrat and Republican, have lost tremendous membership to the independents. The independents is the largest voting bloc in the state of Oregon by far, which is a testament that people are turned off to party politics, both on the left and on the right. And it looks like the independents in the state are leaning right now, primarily because of the gas tax. And they also know that if she gets reelected, all this will come back around, okay? So the hardcore Democrat will always vote Democrat. But those numbers are not what they used to be. The number that you have to get in this state to win anything is the independent number. And the independent number has a tendency to lean according to its geographic area. Three-county area up in Portland, they'll lean a little left. You get out on the eastern side and down here in the south, it'll lean a little bit to the right. But the fact is that the independent people are turned off to party politics, and they will go with one thing, and that is how does it impact their everyday lives. And if you look at the messaging here, Tina Kotek came out with this, Governor Kotek, excuse me, came out with this business advancement committee thing. Huge failure. Didn't go anywhere. In fact, their own findings said, her committee's own findings said, if you want to improve business in the state of Oregon, deregulate and lower taxes. Okay? And guess what? That committee just kind of went away. So I think we have an excellent chance of putting Christine in the governor's office. And here's the deal. We can talk about it all day long. Until you vote, that's all it is words. If you don't vote, have a nice day. Don't blame anybody but yourself. So, all right, those are the top stories on an interesting, oh no, we got weather. Gosh, we're a little behind. I'm sorry about that. Let's take a look at weather. It's kind of nice out there. Oh, that weather. There it is. It is a sunny day in the neighborhood. And guess what? It could get a little hot today.
Good.
And then back down over the weekend. Okay.
All right. Well, beginning August 8th, several cities across the nation will be issuing passports, the Patriot passports. I don't know if you guys talked about it here, that have the image of President Trump, and you can request it if you want, or you can get an original generic passport. But it used to be only available in D.C. Now other cities like Chicago, Dallas, Detroit, Minneapolis, New Orleans, they will be unveiling that. But I found it interesting that despite this option that people now have to have this commemorative passport, some other changes are happening, and Marco Rubio talked about them. For example, now when you get your passport, it will come in a very pretty box, things like that. Here's what Marco Rubio said.
Our goal moving forward is to make sure that everyone who applies for a passport and receives it in the mail will receive it in this box, which, I know, fancy box, which I think is indicative of how important the document inside is. But wait, there's more. When you open it, and when you open this passport box, you will find that there's a certificate attached to it, which is like a certificate of authenticity, like we do with, watches and stuff like that, and jewelry. But again, it's something that we think a lot of people will tremendously value. And then, of course, there's the actual passport. If you'll notice, I'm not good at any of the aesthetic things, as I want you to know, but I value what this means. You see the redesign that I think more appropriately reflects our country and its stature. The one thing that's not a feature on this yet, but will be a feature in the future. Again, I'm giving away, a lot of great secrets, but there'll actually be like a QR code attached to it. So each one of these images that are on here, and they'll be different for the permanent passports, will have a QR code. And when you go on that QR code, it will prompt you to like a video presentation of that moment in American history. And so what we're thinking is that because flights are so often delayed, people are going to be bored out of their minds, and they can go on the QR code and it will pull up these key moments in American history, which obviously will continue to be replenished and added, and it'll go through some pretty amazing moments, including the recent Artemis launch is one of them that we're considering putting in there, and others. So we think it'll be a great source of pride. So I'm excited because we're launching this commemorative, but we're also putting in place all the things you need to have an incredible passport program.
Wow. Well, it's good. I think it emphasizes the meaning of having such a incredible...
Yeah, well, if you think about it, when you go abroad and when you travel, this is one document that is your security, this is what you belong to, and God forbid you lose it.
Oh, gosh, put it
That's
in one of those things that's inside your shirt, blouse, whatever, protect it, you know. Okay. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
Visit fishlakeresorts.net today to learn more and plan your visit.
Washington Watch with Tony Perkins is your watchful eye on the nation's capital. Every weeknight, covering current events, issues of faith, family, and freedom from a conservative Christian perspective.
Washington Watch, thanks so much for joining us.
Bringing you up close to newsmakers, members of Congress, and prominent pro-family leaders from across the nation.
That's just the tip of the iceberg of the threats and the dangers that children are facing online.
Tony is the president of the Family Research Council, a former state legislature, ordained minister, police officer, and veteran of the Marine Corps.
Terrorism experts are sounding the alarm.
And welcome to the Washington Watch News Desk.
Washington Watch with Tony Perkins is your leading source for what's really happening in our nation's capital.
Well, this is a state issue. The federal government shouldn't be forcing these states.
Don't miss Washington Watch with Tony Perkins. Weeknights at 6, only on the Dove TV. Encouraging and informative.
Here we are, singing in the kitchen, beating on the pots and pans. Well, kind of, sort of.
We do have a beautiful kitchen here.
Yeah, we do, right over there. And there's a couple of those fresh peaches still left over there. I encourage you to go slice one and peel it and just take one bite. It is unbelievably sweet.
Okay.
Do you like peaches?
Oh, I love peaches. Okay. And I think Southern Oregon has some of the best peaches ever anywhere. So challenge accepted.
While she's doing that, we'll check in with CBN News.
U.S. forces struck dozens of Iranian military sites in retaliation for a surprise attack targeting American bases. President Trump is considering an extended air campaign to cripple Iran's ability to launch more missiles.
After his meeting with President Trump, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu delivered a message to U.S. evangelicals who support Israel. Paul Petit has the latest.
This morning, Jordanian Defense Forces shot down 5 missiles launched from Iran. In Kuwait, an Iranian missile struck a building owned by a Chinese company, killing 1 person. The missiles fired after the U.S. military attacked Iranian military targets overnight in what Central Command called a heavy wave of strikes, 1 day after foiling an Iranian missile attack on a U.S. base in Jordan. 2 hours, U.S. forces struck dozens of IRGC targets, including command centers, missile and drone facilities, and coastal defense sites. Iranian media reported explosions across southern Iran. These strikes are retaliation after Iran fired multiple ballistic missiles toward U.S. bases across the Middle East Tuesday in a surprise attack. An Iranian drone reportedly struck the U.S.-owned gas storage tanker at a port in Egypt, sparking a fire that spread to a second vessel. President Trump announced the U.S. attacks beforehand.
We're going to be hitting them very hard because it's our turn to hit them. They know it's coming. They're asking us not to do it.
He added that he's still open to negotiations.
And we'll see if we get there with an agreement at some point.
The Wall Street Journal reports the White House is considering a 10 to 14-day air campaign after CENTCOM's commander presented plans to attack Iran's missile arsenal. In Washington for talks with President Trump and Senator Lindsey Graham's funeral, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke with ABC News.
My goal is to make sure that Iran, with this regime, doesn't have nuclear weapons. And that's something that President Trump and I both agree on because it would be a different world.
Another key issue is Saudi Arabia. Netanyahu says Trump assured him the U.S.-Saudi nuclear deal remains linked to Saudi normalization with Israel through the Abraham Accords. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia is seeking an international coalition to protect Red Sea shipping from Houthi attacks, while Iran's Revolutionary Guard claims it struck 3 oil tankers in the Strait of Hormuz on Wednesday. And according to reports, Iran is preparing to receive up to 400 Chinese-made missiles and shoulder-fired air defense missile systems as it rebuilds its short-range defenses. China, however, denies the report. In Washington, Netanyahu told evangelical leaders the world is, quote, under attack from the rising tide of anti-Semitism and anti-evangelicalism, adding, it's not accidental that the two are coming under a joint attack because we are one. Paul Petit, CBN News, Jerusalem.
No, it's not accidental, and it's all being fomented by this incredible alliance between radical Islam and the progressive left, what used to be called Marxism, what used to be called socialism, now being called progressivism. And it's amazing to me the inroads that ideology is making in our own politics today. And that linkage is absolutely strange because on the progressive side, there's no belief in God at all. There's belief in your rights come from the state, and the state is the sort of the supreme overall of the population. In Islam, there is no God but Allah, and you have to submit to Sharia law. It's all about submission. And I guess on that submission, they find common ground. But we as evangelicals need to stand with Israel, and we also need to stand for our own rights today. We are under attack as never before, and it's literally worldwide.
Well, look, there's another story that, of course, what happened in Spain. Have you been following that story?
Oh, with the migrants? The
migrants have stormed Spain from the shoreline, and Spain is, well, super woke, I guess you could say. No border, no anything, and it's possible. The invasion is so big, so fast, so real, it is possible they may lose their country. Wow. That's how big it is. And you know what's interesting about it? When you see these invasions, and we have it, look what's happening to America with socialism and all this other stuff that's going on. And you have Spain over there in the last and when you see the videos of the thousands and thousands and thousands of people that hit the shoreline and just stormed the town, most of them are young men. Mm-hmm. What does that tell you?
Well, a lot.
So, yeah.
Young men, military age. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, see what's going on. Take a look at the weather. Here's what's going on as we head into the weekend, and a little warm today, but pretty good. Take a look.
Here's a look at today's weather from Grange Co-op. Across northern Oregon and southern Washington, sunny skies with daytime highs in the upper 80s for Vancouver, Portland, Wilsonville, and McMinnville. Lows tonight settle back into the upper 50s to low 60s. Through the Willamette Valley, clear sunny conditions continue as temperatures climb in Salem with a high of 89, Albany 88, Corvallis 87, and down through Eugene near 89. Patchy smoke through central Oregon, then sunny and 95 for Prineville, while Bend and Sun River both top out at 93. In Boise, smoky before turning sunny and hot with a high of near 100. Along the Oregon coast, patchy fog gives way to sunshine in Coos Bay with a high of 72. Sunny skies continue in Port Orford near 70, while Brookings and Crescent City turn mostly sunny into the low to mid 60s. In southern Oregon, sunny and hot conditions persist with highs in the upper 90s for Grants Pass and Medford. Ashland and Klamath Falls top out in the mid 90s under clear sunny skies. Across northern California, sunny and hot in Wairika near 98. Redding climbs to 104, and Chico tops out at 101 with a slight south wind. Over in Fort Bragg, sunny in the mid-60s this afternoon. In the Bay Area, sunny skies with highs in the low 90s for Santa Rosa and 89 in Napa. San Francisco is cooler in the mid-70s, while San Jose sees a daytime high of 90. Triple digits sunny and hot across central California with highs near 100 at Sacramento, Stockton, and Modesto. Fresno, Visalia, and Bakersfield climb to a high of 104 with lows in the low 70s. That's a look at your Friday weather from Grange Co-op.
All right, good morning to you, Jerry's historical archives. And yes, he's still producing them for us. He's doing much better, by the way. Just give you a little Jerry update. He's doing fine. Road trips. Now, Steve Johnson's in the road trips. Mm-hmm. You know, he did them on motorcycles. He does them in cars. He likes the road trip thing. Well, today's kind of like the first of its kind took place on this date.
On July 31st, 1971, Apollo 15 astronauts David Scott and James Irwin took humanity's first road trip on another world, spending about 6.5 hours exploring the moon in the lunar roving vehicle. The battery-powered moon buggy could reach nearly 11 miles per hour, although Scott jokingly pushed it to almost 12. Built with lightweight aluminum and wire mesh wheels, it folded up to fit inside the lunar module and weighed just over 460 pounds on Earth, but on the moon it felt like only about 77 pounds thanks to the moon's weaker gravity. When the mission ended, the rover was left behind and is still sitting on the moon today. Its batteries are long dead, so it wouldn't simply drive away if someone found it, but its mechanical parts have been preserved in the moon's airless environment for more than 55 years. And now, as NASA and its international partners prepare to return to the moon, the next generation of lunar explorers will likely have even more advanced vehicles, proving that the very first moon road trip was only the beginning.
Boy, don't you know that? What if eventually we're going to have a kiosk up there, a coffee kiosk up there?
Oh, yeah. Just run out there, drive through.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Are you excited about Christmas? I know it's 5 months away. But you know who's already excited? The White House.
Oh.
Our First Lady Melania Trump has announced that applications are now open for Americans who would like to volunteer as Christmas decorators or performers during this year's holiday season. Volunteers from across the country will help decorate the White House, while choirs, school bands, and other musical groups can apply to perform during the annual holiday open houses. The application process is open until August 28th, and those who are selected will be notified by October. Let me tell you some of the requirements. Obviously, you have to be an American citizen, 18 years of age at least. Volunteers should expect to be available from 6 in the morning to 5 p.m. each day on their shift. There are a few shifts that you can petition for, but it's not guaranteed that you'll get that specific shift. You're responsible for your individual travel and accommodations and personal expenses, but you will get 2 meals a day. And of course, you're doing this for experience and to have this on your resume that you helped decorate the White House. Last year, about 150 volunteer decorators representing all 50 states and 2 U.S. territories helped transform the White House, and it was gorgeous. So if you're interested, go on the White House website, submit your application, and if you're conditionally selected, they'll ask you for more information. And maybe you'll be there decorating the White House.
You probably will also get the official White House Christmas ornament. Now, I used to collect them. It's been a while. I think I have, I don't know what we got, 5 or 6 of them through the years. When I was chairman, they sent us one every year. But they're kind of cool. It's kind of, it's a neat thing to have.
Well, what an experience, you know, to be there, even though you pretty much pay for everything.
I think you and Peggy and Melinda ought to go.
And Renee.
And Renee, yeah, you girls ought to pack up and go. Take Alice with you, too.
Perfect.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay.
But the show will not happen, though. Because without us, the show will not happen.
Okay.
Think about it.
Don't go. Okay, we'll be right back.
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? When you want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life, call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox, air is life. Make it perfect.
Jerry's Historical Archives. U.S. history. Great moments in time. Record breakers. Our music through the years. Historic leaders. Moments to remember. Go back in time. Back in the day. TV shows of the past. Nostalgia.
It's a wonderful trip down memory lane with fun and interesting stories you might not know about. Relive the past and learn something new.
Open up Jerry's Historical Archives. Weekdays only on Mornings on the Dove.
10 minutes before the hour on a beautiful Friday morning, Paulina is here waiting for... You didn't go get your peach.
I did not. We had such an interesting conversation. I couldn't leave.
Okay.
But I will.
Okay.
It's on my agenda.
Thank you for getting me Pastor Robert Morgan yesterday. He is an amazing author. He's written numerous books, and he's quite the communicator. And I just finished his book, The Lord is My Shepherd. It's a book on the 23rd Psalm. And then I started his new book about 12 scriptures about God giving you strength in the Bible. Now, there's numerous scriptures talking about strength, but he and his wife selected 12, and he wrote a book on them. And the whole book starts with his own personal transparency of admission, he and his wife, dealing with ministry burnout, which is...
real.
It's real. And I said, how significant is burnout in ministry today? And here's what he had to say.
I think it's significant, especially in this day and age in which everything is moving so quickly and there's increasing opposition to what we are doing as believers in this world. In my book, 100 Bible Verses That Made America, I talk about the many times in which the Bible has impacted our American history. And we're coming to a point now where we have Marxists who are trying to set the agenda. So everything about ministry and pastoring and serving the Lord and going to church and being a faithful Christian is becoming more difficult. But to me, the reason that I've never succumbed to burnout, even though I've been around the edges of it, is I was taught as a teenager to meet with the Lord every day and have my quiet time. And ministry is overflow. I've never written a book because I sat down to write a book. I've written books or preached sermons because it's the overflow of what God was doing in my own life. And The Strength You Need is a book that basically is just telling the impact of these 12 wonderful passages about strength. Those who wait upon the Lord will renew their strength, and the joy of the Lord is my strength. And I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And these wonderful verses in which God promises to give us strength, I've had to cycle through those verses, or maybe it's better to say I've had to let those verses cycle through me many a time. And I think if we do that, if we are meditating on God's word and spending time with him, and we find the strength of his presence in our lives, that is the most powerful force in mitigating burnout.
That's a very interesting approach he has to preaching and writing books. You know, you fill your cup, and then whatever is the overflow, you share it with the world.
I did ask him the question, and by the way, you could go online at theDove.us and watch the whole interview. It's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. He's just a wonderful guy, and I want to say thank you for getting him. I look forward to talking to him.
He's going to send you a care package.
I think he is. I don't know what it is, but we'll see what it is. But his books are fascinating. But I asked him the question, so what does the scripture mean to you, be still and know? and which is a reference of, slow down, stop, and know that God is with you. Do you know that? And it kind of set him back a little bit, because it kind of augments what we're talking about here, in that he said, I've had to really slow down. He said, I've had to take walks by myself. I've had to talk to myself. And I said, well, David talked to himself. Bless the Lord, all my soul, all that's within me. He's actually talking to himself. He goes, yeah, I've had to do that. And like you said, I've been on the edges of burnout, okay, and I've had to talk myself back, because pastors don't get, I don't know, they may take a vacation, but they really don't. And so, anyway, great guy. Hey, I got John O'Connor coming up. Perfect timing. Thank you. You know why? I want to know what 111 declarations of the Fifth Amendment mean.
Me too. You and me both.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we have him coming up. We'll talk about Dr. Fauci declaring the fifth 111 times in his testimony when he was already given a grand pardon.
Right.
Is this a two-edged sword?
Right, and what's next?
What's next?
What legally? Okay. Well, do you like four-legged creatures?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got
except
one.
for cats. Except for cats.
I like cats. I just don't want one.
Okay. Well, Jerry has a four-legged rescue story for us this morning.
What started as a terrifying swim through San Francisco Bay ended with a happy reunion for one very determined little dog. Prieta had been missing since the 4th of July, when someone spotted her paddling farther and farther into the bay and called 911. Firefighters, police officers, and a drone team sprang into action. Using GPS coordinates from the drone, rescuers guided a boat straight to the exhausted pup and pulled her safely from the water just in time. Police later joked that the rescue looked more like an action movie than a cat stuck in a tree call, especially after Prieta survived repeated dive-bombing attacks from a flock of seagulls. After a quick checkup, Prieta was reunited with the family who had been searching for her for weeks. For her emotional owner, who had recently lost several family members, getting her beloved dog back was the best homecoming she could have imagined.
Oh, my stars. That little puppy out there in the bay. Oh.
Looks like little Polly. Remember us?
Yeah. And I'm surprised that the seagulls didn't get her. Wow.
Wow.
Okay, take with you, let's see here, out of the Gospel of Mark, chapter 10, verse 45. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life a ransom for many. Kind of put that in perspective. He came to get you.
Yes. Amen.
And create avocados.
Real Life with Jack Hibbs, now on the Dove TV every weekend. Deepen your walk with Christ and make an effective impact on your world. Don't miss Real Life with Jack Hibbs, Sundays at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. on the Dove TV.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site, in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare. Your loved one can spend the day with us, and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
I'm gonna let it shine, gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, gonna let it shine. Oh, shine.
The world has a view, but God has the vision. That's what sets a Vision TV show apart, seen on the Dove TV.
Welcome to The Vision, where the world has a view, but God has the vision.
The Vision is an inspirational talk show that elevates voices of faith through powerful conversations, highlighting changemakers making a difference.
My group, we are a collective of elder rights activists from across the nation.
Each episode blends heartfelt storytelling with practical insight.
To get up every day and just say, Lord, thank you. I'm here. If you woke me up today, you must have a purpose for me, and I think that's the thing.
Encouraging viewers to live with clarity, compassion, and vision.
We're looking for good things because this is the day that the Lord has made.
Join Alveda King and a panel of friends. The world has a view, but God has the vision. Tuesdays at 1:30 and 8:30 p.m. right here on the Dove TV. You're watching the Dove TV, encouraging and informative for Chico and the North State. Seen on KKRM 11, Channel 21, and these Dove TV affiliates. Good morning. You're tuned to the Dove, encouraging and informative, helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on the Dove.
And good morning to you. Happy Friday. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove. Paulina's here. Ta-da!
Yes, thanks for the peaches.
Happy. Oh, you got a little peach there. Fresh peach right out of the orchard.
Yes.
And wait till you taste that one. Ooh.
Well, I ate half, and it was amazing.
Yes.
I almost didn't come back.
Okay, there she is. Anyway, good morning to you. Happy Friday. A lot going on in the news. There always is. It's going to be a hot one today across the region. Then it backs down. That was kind of interesting yesterday. We had a little cloud cover. Nice breeze last night. Actually, a little cool this morning. Right back up today, and then back down again tomorrow. So that's the pattern that we're in. We'll have the details on that. A lot going on in the news. Wow, we'll get to that. Anything special?
Yes, avocados. Today's National Avocado Day, as soon as I can find my little cheat sheet that explains what it is. But let's see. National Avocado Day. We consume billions of them every year, we as in Americans. And not many people know that it's actually a fruit, a berry. And they're loaded with healthy fats and fibers. So today, maybe a guacamole, although guacamole kind of defeats the purpose because once you have guacamole, you have chips. So it becomes not so healthy anymore.
Unless you put it on toast.
Avocado toast is good. Maybe throw it in your salad or just have it. I like just slicing avocados and eating them with some salt. National Raspberry Cake Day. So that's your dessert for today. Raspberries have been enjoyed for more than 2,000 years. I don't know who calculates these things. Are they in the Bible? I don't know. Packed with vitamin C
I'm sure.
and antioxidants.
Paulina chapter 4, verse 9.
Right. Yeah, that's where the honey cake is mentioned.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, today's System Administrator Appreciation Day.
Assistant Administrator.
Those IT people that keep your workplace together.
Oh,
you appreciate
IT.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
IT.
okay. Well,
IT professionals who keep our computers, networks, and business running. So
we have the best two
Rick.
in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we just have the best.
Well, you need to appreciate them today.
And no, you can't come hire them away. Stay away from here.
Because they're the ones that set your password, so they have the key to your productivity.
They do. And they could hack you.
And it is Talk in an Elevator Day. So today, if you're riding an elevator to your work or to home, maybe strike a conversation, meet the people around you, and be kind. And
there you go.
I don't know what you can talk about. I guess the weather.
Well, like I said, if I get an elevator,
have fun
a bunch of people, I try to do that. You know, if there's a over by the keypad, you know. I said, what floor do you want to go? 3. And I go, okay, that's sporting goods. 4, well, that's housewares.
Yeah.
You know?
Right, yeah.
There you go.
You do that, or just how's your day going?
How's your day going? Yeah. Yeah, and you get people in an elevator that don't talk.
Yeah, sometimes it can be awkward.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten stuck in an elevator?
No, but it's a fear.
Of yours?
Yes, because I'm semi, if not full-blown claustrophobic.
I've gotten stuck in an elevator many times because we had one at our apartment. My fear is not getting stuck. My fear is for the elevator to fall.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
We've had those cases. You know, obviously it doesn't happen very often, but you kind of think of what it would be like in
somewhere in my box of junk, somewhere. We were in New York, and we decided to go to the top of the Empire State Building. And you have to go up in sections, so you take an elevator to another floor, then you take an elevator all the way to the top. So we got on this elevator going to the top, and I pushed the button, and the button fell in my hand.
And you kept it?
And I kept it. And I got to the top, and they had people at the top that escort you kind of on and off, and I said, the button fell off. And I go, oh, okay, he didn't pay much attention to it. And I go, okay. So somewhere, I think it was 8 or something. If I remember right, it's 8 or 9, if I remember the number right.
That's cool.
Out of the Empire State Building.
Yeah. Put it on display somewhere.
Somewhere. I got to go in my junk box. All right, good morning to you. A lot going on there. Let's check out the weather because it's going to be a little on the warm side today.
Here's a look at today's weather from Grange Co-op. Across northern Oregon and southern Washington, sunny skies with daytime highs in the upper 80s for Vancouver, Portland, Wilsonville, and McMinnville. Lows tonight settle back into the upper 50s to low 60s. Through the Willamette Valley, clear sunny conditions continue as temperatures climb in Salem with a high of 89, Albany 88, Corvallis 87, and down through Eugene near 89. Patchy smoke through central Oregon, then sunny and 95 for Prineville, while Bend and Sun River both top out at 93. In Boise, smoky before turning sunny and hot with a high of near 100. Along the Oregon coast, patchy fog gives way to sunshine in Coos Bay with a high of 72. Sunny skies continue in Port Orford near 70, while Brookings and Crescent City turn mostly sunny into the low to mid 60s. In southern Oregon, sunny and hot conditions persist with highs in the upper 90s for Grants Pass and Medford. Ashland and Klamath Falls top out in the mid 90s under clear sunny skies. Across northern California, sunny and hot in Wairika near 98. Redding climbs to 104, and Chico tops out at 101 with a slight south wind. Over in Fort Bragg, sunny in the mid-60s this afternoon. In the Bay Area, sunny skies with highs in the low 90s for Santa Rosa and 89 in Napa. San Francisco is cooler in the mid-70s, while San Jose sees a daytime high of 90. Triple digits, sunny and hot across Central California with highs near 100 in Sacramento, Stockton, and Modesto. Fresno, Visalia, and Bakersfield climb to a high of 104 with lows in the low 70s. That's a look at your Friday weather from Grange Co-op.
Beautiful shot. That's looking to the southwest this morning, and you can see how dry it is, so be careful. But it's a beautiful day.
You know, sometimes simple or complicated questions have very simple answers. We don't realize until we actually get them. And one of the best apologists that we know, Billy Graham, he has such a wonderful way of relating complex information to us. And the question I'm talking about is, what must I do to be saved? Here's Billy Graham tackling that.
A divinity school student stood up at Harvard and asked me in a discussion, said, can you tell me in plain and clear language, what must I do to be saved? He asked me that question right in front of the faculty and the other students. And I answered him. I answered him as Paul answered, believe on the Lord Jesus Christ and thou shalt be saved. After Peter had preached his great sermon at Pentecost, the people were stirred in their hearts, and they said to Peter, what must we do? What do we have to do? 20th century man asked the same question that man has always asked. I remember when I was in Korea during the war, there was a chaplain that came to me, and he said, you know, I've been to seminary, I have my degrees, I've been pastor of a large church, I was called to be professor at a seminary, and the other day I was called to the side of a dying boy out at a field hospital, and he was dying, and I didn't know what to tell him. He asked me, he said, what can I do to find peace in my heart? I know I'm dying. And he said, I didn't know what to tell him. What would you tell him? The answer that Paul gave to this jailer long ago is so simple that millions stumble over it. You don't have to straighten out your life first. You don't have to go home and do something good in order to find Christ. You do that after you've come to Christ. We don't have to make ourselves well before going to a doctor. Dr. Henderson is sitting on the platform. He sees sick people. He doesn't see well people. Jesus was called the great physician. He said, "It is not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. I've not come to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance."
Have you ever met Billy Graham? Or been to his events?
Yes, I met him briefly. I was flying the plane for KCRA in Sacramento, and he was coming to Sacramento to hold a crusade at the Expo, which was an outdoor venue there where the state fair is. And so I got to be part of a committee that, you know, didn't do a whole lot. But anyway, we met him briefly.
That's such a great explanation of the committees.
But I flew the plane every morning. And so I decided that I was going to carry the Bible with me, because a lot of times I was alone up there. And I laid the Bible on my lap to John 3:16, and every morning I'd fly over Expo and kind of say, "For whosoever will." And here comes Billy Graham. And he was there for, I think, 2 days or 3 days. The planning in advance of him going anywhere is months to set these things up. And I think he'd only been to Sacramento, so if we look back on that, it would have been twice in his career. He did one in the 50s, and then he did this one in the 70s. And so, yeah, he was way over there, we were over here, we were this committee. He kind of came in and waved at everything. Of course, Franklin, an entirely different schedule. Franklin's been in the studio here. You know, he's walked around. You guys all got your picture taken with him. You know?
Well, you interviewed him.
Yeah, we interviewed him. Yeah, so twice. Got to interview him twice. All right, what is that? Oh, that's, let's go to the headlines. Good morning to you. 11 minutes past the hour. Well, one of the big headlines that popped up this morning, it's kind of got everybody scratching their head. Apparently, the president says that they have now come up with a Gaza breakthrough. What they're saying is that they have reached an agreement, apparently the original 10-point plan, where Hamas will disarm in Gaza, and they will start the process of forming a new Gaza government by the Palestinians, not Hamas. Okay. Apparently this group of people that have worked together basically said that we're going to disarm, or well, I should say this, that Hamas has agreed to disarm, which in itself is pretty monumental. If this is the
it's
case.
kind of hard to believe.
It's really hard to believe. And that the citizens, the Palestinian citizens now will begin to form a new government. There will be a little bit of a coalition of nations that will help establish this. We'll have to wait and see how this comes about, but the only thing I can say is we'll see. I guess we'll wait and see. And then out of this peace group of nations trying to put this together, or have put this together, they will police this transition from Hamas to a Palestinian government as Israel supposedly slowly retreats out of the area. Now, that's all kind of fuzzy at the moment, but the bottom line here is Palestinians are going to still get a two-state solution in the city of Gaza. And you kind of go, okay, is that a gain or a loss for Israel? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, and the current mess in Gaza has, begun with the war began on October 7th. It'll be 3 years. It has to end at some point. And while it's kind of hard to believe that Hamas will finally relinquish their weapons, and what does it really mean for them? Are they going to be out, or are they going to be more of a recognized police force working together with the Palestinian government? But I hope that it works, because the people of Gaza have been through a lot.
Well, listen to this Board of Peace. The diplomatic breakthrough broke through with the Board of Peace alongside mediators Egypt, Qatar, Turkey. I don't know. I don't know what to say. And when it happened, when it broke last night, I was surfing around trying to find, well, there's got to be a reaction to Israel to this. So I went all over the place, couldn't find anything. This morning, I get in here at 0.30 and I'm going around looking for things. No response from Israel yet. So we'll have to wait and see where this is going to go.
Now, I'm so interested to know whether Israel was consulted at all, because they're not mentioned in this whole negotiation.
No, they're not. So we'll see what happens. In the meantime, the Iran says it's going to harshly deal with U.S. allies in the region. Well, this is, I think, psychological warfare. One of the questions is, of course, Iran did fire some missiles over to Jordan. They were intercepted. So we'll see. But they seem to be running out of armament pretty fast here. What is left and what can they do, you know? And this is their response to the president who had, well, he gave the okay to really pound them pretty hard the last couple of days. So I think more is coming. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. So those are some of the top stories on this back at it. By the way, the fires on the east side are still there. I'll give you a quick update on that, but we're still looking at 1.5 million acres burning in the state of Oregon, or have burned, or burning.
Do you think it will ever be not the case where we don't have fires like this in Oregon? Or is that just something to expect every year?
Well, there's plenty of blame to go around, from climate change to poor forest management. And you can point fingers all day long. I think there are some preventative things that we could do. I think forest management is an issue you have to look at. Get in and clean up the forest floor, or at least, especially after fire, you know, we should be able to go in there and harvest and all these things. The other thing is, I'm wondering about technology. Gosh, we can put people on the moon. Can we come up with better firefighting equipment?
That's a good point.
You know?
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, it's just a thought.
It's kind of, you know, I have the same thought when, say, someone is going missing, and the government knows where you are. They're listening to our devices.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's, maybe not just the government, but these things always there, and yet we can't find a missing person, or we don't know what happened in a certain location where
we can't
say,
find Amelia
murder. Yeah. So it is interesting how technology is not being used where we wish it was.
Well, I'm just wondering, is there better firefighting things that could be done? And we have two DC-10s sitting on the tarmac. I think they carry 15,000 gallons of retardant. That's a big load. There's a 747 out of Mayfield Air Force, former Mayfield Air Force Base in Sacramento. That I think carries a little bit more, up to around maybe 20,000 gallons. Those are big things. So I don't know. I don't know. It's horrible to watch. Ask yourself this question, okay, about forest fires. What happened when they started and no man was around? Is this God's way? Is this nature doing its thing? They just burned themselves out.
Yeah.
You know, is there a natural part of this? What makes it hard is that mostly these lands are inhabited now by people and
right,
farms
or
and
maybe
and cattle and all this stuff, you know.
Right, or when it moves closer to the structures.
All right, so much for that. We'll take a, what'd you think of the peach?
It's yummy. It's so juicy, I pretty much...
You know, you spilled it all over here.
Yeah.
Look at that. You're messy. We'll be right back. Okay, we'll be right back.
That's why you love me.
At Kelly's Automotive Service, we understand that the automotive industry has a certain reputation, and we try every day to prove that we're different. We believe working from our purpose, which is to bless our staff, clients, and community, is a good start. While getting your car serviced or repaired isn't something that you look forward to, we hope that you leave us feeling heard and taken care of. Kelly's Automotive Service in Grants Pass and Medford, where we service your vehicle, but take care of you. kellysautomotive.com.
I'm gonna let it shine, gonna let it shine.
Do events in the world leave you confused and scratching your head? A world where up is down and down is up.
I'm Perry Atkinson. Mornings on the Dove knows how you feel. We're here to offer God's hope and encouragement and to help you to sort it all out.
And I'm Jerry Bilden. Mornings on the Dove alerts you to issues and events the mainstream media would rather you not know or know the truth.
A lot in the news today, some movement around in the Middle East, common sense discussions on today's headlines, and rational perspective on what's really going on.
That will leave you better informed and encouraged by the gospel.
In this upside-down world, there's one place you can trust to get it straight.
Check into Mornings on the Dove each day to find out what's really going on and to be encouraged.
Mornings on the Dove, weekdays from 6 to 8 a.m. on the Dove TV and radio. Streaming online at thedove.us, Roku, and Apple TV. The Dove, encouraging and informative.
Hey, how y'all doing out there? 20 minutes past the hour. Polina's here eating peaches and zucchini bread.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. It was yummy.
Well, Peggy made it.
Is that so? Both of them?
Yeah.
There are pieces.
Well, the
that
zucchini bread's a little bit older.
Okay.
But it has that frosting.
The glaze.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that she made this one too.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Oh,
zucchini. You know it's zucchini season because it shows up in your
porch.
It shows up in your car during church.
Oh, don't leave your windows down.
Yeah, don't leave your windows down. All right, 20 minutes past the hour. Some backyard news. We're going to have a gubernatorial debate right here in our own backyard. Thank you, KOBI, Channel 5, NBC affiliate here in Southern Oregon. And thank you, Patsy, and the crew over there. They are going to host this coming up on October 7th. And Governor Tina Kotek and Christine Drazen will be doing their debate in the studio here. We look forward to that. They have put together a very interesting panel of people who will be asking them questions. One will be the president there of KOBI, Patsy Smullen, will be one of the panelists, news director Joe Sullivan, and Southern Oregon University President Dr. Rick Bailey. So that's a pretty good variety of people to be on the panel there. So I look forward to that. As we go into this debate, Christine Drazen is leading by the latest polls. By the way, this is twice now this has happened on the poll that shows Christine Drazen ahead anywhere from 4 to 6 points, which is good. You remember the last time that that Christine ran against Tina Kotek? There was a third person in the race, Betsy Johnson. Betsy's what a character. I mean, I've met her on many occasions, and Senator, she's just a hoot of a gal. Anyway, she decided to run as an independent, and that pulled a lot of votes away. Well, that's not the case now. We have a two-person race going into the midterm, and right now the Republican is leading. So,
and as you were saying, a large portion of people right now, they're in the independent bloc, and they're going to decide between those two.
They will. They will. And you can see both of them trying to, I say both of them, both candidates, the governor, Kotek, and Christine Drazen, they're positioning themselves in their last 60, 90-day messaging. Right now you can see that. So
is this going to be a obviously televised debate, but is it open to public or just limited ticketing? Do you know? I
don't know that. Usually they're televised. Be like one in here where you can only have so many people in here, so you'd have to figure it out. One other quick thing is the governor has said no, stepped in and said no, the state will not allow 32 acres in southeast Salem, known at the Mill Corporation Center, to be used for a data center. Apparently some of the people squawked about it, and she stepped in and said, no, we're not going to let the state property be used for that. Developers were planning a $5 billion data center. Now, these data centers are popping up all over the country, and they require a lot to make them work, and they employ a lot of people too, certainly during the construction stage. But she said no. You're not going to use state property for that. Kind of interesting. Now, we had another one try to pop up over in Lapine, and that small town over there said no. And so where do you go with these? They require a lot of electricity and a lot of water.
Right, yeah. And like you said, they do employ people, but usually during the construction.
Yeah.
Once they're built, there aren't too many permanent workers.
No, they're not, because the whole point is they're AI.
Yeah.
It's AI stuff. All right, let's take a look at Wall Street on this Friday morning. Thank you, Preston. He's a nice guy, but his wife
Yes,
has.
and
You
smart.
gotta go. Have you been to her little ice cream shop?
You keep asking me. You keep
Go to
embarrassing me.
Twin It's right around the corner.
Oh, I almost went there yesterday.
Okay, we'll go.
But almost doesn't count.
The Dow's up 13 and a quarter. The Nas is up 87, and the S&P up a whopping 1 point. So a little bit of green ink this morning, not a whole lot, but it is pushing in the right direction. Let's see how that's impacting the other things. Gold is back down a few pennies, 4,078. Silver's off about $1.57, and crude oil's up about 80 cents, back to $90. So up and down a little bit on this Friday morning.
Well, this year our nation is celebrating 250th birthday, and as part of the festivities, they, as in our government, rolled out a commemorative passport with the picture of our President Trump. He is the first living United States president to be featured in the U.S. passport.
Oh, there you go.
It was available in the
special.
D.C. area only, but due to high demand, they are rolling it out in other cities across the country. Now, if you don't want to have a special passport, that's fine. You know, say
I want the box.
Well, you'll get it.
Okay.
For example, I need to get my passport. I don't have one, so I have a choice. You don't have to go for the Trump passport. And in fact, moving forward, just like Perry wanting to get a special box, everyone apparently will be receiving a special box and a special certificate. So here's Marco Rubio talking about those little new benefits.
Our goal moving forward is to make sure that everyone who applies for a passport and receives it in the mail will receive it in this box, which I know, fancy box, which I think is indicative of how important the document inside is. But wait, there's more. When you open it, and when you open this passport box, you will find that there's a certificate attached to it, which is like a certificate of authenticity, like we do with, watches and stuff like that, and jewelry. But again, it's something that we think a lot of people will tremendously value. And then, of course, there's the actual passport. If you'll notice, I'm not good at any of the aesthetic things, as I want you to know, but I value what this means. You see the redesign that I think more appropriately reflects our country and its stature. The one thing that's not a feature on this yet, but will be a feature in the future. Again, I'm giving away, a lot of great secrets, but there'll actually be like a QR code attached to it. So each one of these images that are on here, and they'll be different for the permanent passports, will have a QR code. And when you go on that QR code, it will prompt you to like a video presentation of that moment in American history. And so what we're thinking is that because flights are so often delayed, people are going to be bored out of their minds, and they can go on the QR code and it will pull up these key moments in American history, which obviously will continue to be replenished and added, and it'll go through some pretty amazing moments, including the recent Artemis launch is one of them that we're considering putting in there, and others. So we think it'll be a great source of pride. So I'm excited because we're launching this commemorative, but we're also putting in place all the things you need to have an incredible passport program.
If you were renewing your passport today, would you get one with the picture of the president or just a generic one?
Under the advice of my counsel, I've decided.
Okay. Fine. But I am going to renew my passport, and I'll bring you the box if I do get it in that.
Well, all right. There's a little story here because you recently became a citizen, and I didn't think about that. Now you get to have an American passport.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not a requirement, but if you want to travel
well,
abroad,
if you want to travel.
Yeah.
So do you have to relinquish your Russian passport? Visa or passport? Or
they
whatever?
don't check it here to where you have to relinquish something. You become a citizen and you gain certain rights, but they don't. That's something that I have to deal with the Russian government.
Okay.
But in regard to the American government, I now can apply for a passport, which I actually got an application a few days ago at the postal office. So I'll see if mine comes in a pretty box, because usually they just come in a unmarked envelope.
Yeah. And I just renewed mine and it come in, I go, okay, well, at least I have it. But I'd like to have that box.
Yeah. Well, if I do get one, I don't know if I'll give it to you, but at least I'll bring it and I'll show it to you.
No, I just want to see it. Yeah.
I'll bring it.
Maybe you could get the box separately. Once they get this program set. I think the QR code thing would really be neat.
Yeah.
you know?
It is interesting. Like, I'd like to be in that room. Okay, what can we do about this passport to make it more special? Oh, let's put a QR code.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So, all right, well,
Come on.
I got to remember the line you're supposed to say in pleading the fifth.
Under advice of my counsel, I respectfully decline to
Answer your question according to the privilege afforded to me in the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. I think that's something like that.
Let's see. Well, maybe I'll get it for when we come back, because it is a nice line to have, especially when you have 5 Amazon packages outside. On the advice of counsel, I respectfully invoke my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution and decline to answer the question. That's one way to say it.
Okay, so Dr. Fauci invoked that 111 times, and here's the question now, and I'm going to ask John O'Connor. He's going to be my guest coming up a little bit, former federal prosecutor, so he would know this. He was given a blanket immunity for a crime that he had not yet been convicted for. That's questionable. And we're finding out today that immunity was signed by the auto pen.
Mm-hmm.
That's another issue.
Right, is it even
all right, so
legitimate?
The other part is, then, since he invoked the Fifth Amendment, can he literally do that? Because he doesn't have that right. He forfeited that right to invoke the Fifth when he was given the blanket immunity. Therefore, he can be brought up on charges of contempt and obstruction. Kind of complicated.
Yeah, well, that's why lawyers get paid so much.
Well, they're the only ones that go to the bank on
it.
Friday. Nobody else goes to the bank on Friday except lawyers.
Yeah?
Oh, maybe some surgeons. We'll be right back.
Gonna get emails.
Your yard is where life happens, but it can be muddy and hard to maintain. Enjoy a maintenance-free artificial turf lawn all year round with Smart Lawn LLC. No mowing, no fertilizing, no watering. Our synthetic grass is beautiful and resilient. It's certified to be lead-free, and there's no need for pesticides. Safe for your children and pets. Smart Lawn LLC has all your artificial turf and putting green areas covered beautifully. 541-941-3538.
Pastor Jack Hibbs, championing religious liberty, a deep love of God, freedom, and America.
That liberty is God-given, not government-granted.
You may have seen him in the news during COVID as he pushed back against government-mandated church closures. Now you can see him on theDove TV every weekend on Real Life with Jack Hibbs.
You and I cannot afford to be casual about what God has actually said in His Word regarding the future.
Learn, grow in your faith, and impact the world with authentic biblical teaching.
The Bible warns us to avoid private interpretations.
Jack challenges today's generation to understand and practice the biblical worldview, verse by verse, addressing key cultural and daily life issues. Deepen your walk with Christ to make an effective impact on your world. Don't miss Real Life with Jack Hibbs, Sundays at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. on theDove TV.
Welcome back. Happy
Friday.
Friday. What are you doing this weekend?
What am I doing? Today I'm going to a birthday party to celebrate someone's birthday. And then I'm probably just going to be sleeping and recovering from the birthday party.
Well, wild party. I won't ask
yeah.
any more questions.
Burning 72.
Oh, there you go. Okay, let's check out the latest from CBN News this morning.
President Donald Trump is warning Israel not to derail his Gaza reconstruction plan. Today, the Board of Peace reached a historic agreement for the complete disarmament of Hamas and all other armed groups in Gaza. This is a monumental step toward lasting peace and security, Trump wrote on Truth Social. A senior U.S. official says Trump will be very disappointed if Israel blocks the next phase of the 20-point framework that Israel previously accepted. The proposal follows a Hamas approval of a U.S.-backed disarmament plan. Under the framework, Hamas and all other armed groups would surrender their weapons over 8 months to a Palestinian technocratic committee that would replace Hamas as Gaza's governing authority. The plan calls for the destruction of terror tunnels, weapons depots, and weapons factories, with each phase independently verified before moving forward. As disarmament progresses, the IDF would withdraw from Gaza in stages, while an international stabilization force and a new Palestinian police force assume responsibility for security. A senior U.S. official said, "We worked with Israel the whole time. They are skeptical that Hamas will disarm, but not much they can do except see it happen." Israel is demanding the complete disarmament of Hamas, including the removal of weapons from Gaza and the full demilitarization of the Gaza Strip as a precondition for any withdrawal process. Meanwhile, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps says it launched strikes on U.S. military bases in Jordan and Kuwait Wednesday, followed by another strike on Kuwait Thursday, targeting fighter aircraft shelters, satellite communication systems, and equipment storage facilities. U.S. officials have not confirmed those claims. The strikes come as the United States and Iran continued exchanging missile attacks on Thursday. Commercial shipping through the Strait of Hormuz remains largely at a standstill. Also, in southern Lebanon, just 5 miles from the Galilee in Israel, the IDF demolished a massive Hezbollah tunnel system with 700 tons of explosives. It was excavated with Iranian funding and equipped with electricity, water supply, and a fully functional medical operating room. And it served as a command center for Hezbollah and a launch site for anti-tank missiles and explosive drones targeting northern Israel.
Julie Stahl is with us now from Jerusalem. Julie, what's behind Israel's hesitancy to follow through with this Gaza plan?
Well, Gary, you know the Middle East. I don't think anyone in Israel thinks Hamas will disarm. They'll find a way around it one way or another. Even just this week, Israel struck and killed a commander who had infiltrated on October 7th, and he was threatening the troops again. So I don't think it's realistic. It's like that, you know, like having a game board, and you've got two people playing, and they're playing by different rules. It doesn't work that way. And we have to remember there's a history behind this. The disengagement next month is 21 years ago that Israel pulled out of Gaza, gave it to the Palestinians, gave them greenhouses to make money. The Palestinians voted in Hamas. Hamas who knows how much money they spent on all their tunnels. They could have made it beautiful. They could have made a subway instead of tunnels. But no, their energy went into attacking Israel, killing Israel. Hamas is also attacking Gazans. They're not for their own people. They don't want to build something the way we think in the West that things should happen. And people have to understand it's just not the same thing.
Well, why is Israel reportedly upset then about Turkey and Qatar participating in the Hamas arrangements?
Neither Turkey or Qatar are particularly friends of Israel. Just in the last few weeks, a Turkish official, a high-ranking one, said he wants to be the mayor of Jerusalem when Turkey comes back and takes over Jerusalem. So, you know, they've also, they house Hamas terrorists, they want to come back to the time of the Ottoman Empire, which was from 1299 to 1923. Qatar has also been funding transferring funds to Hamas all this time. So they're not friendly to Israel. So why would Israel want them to be involved with Hamas? Trying to help Hamas disarm, because probably they're going to help find a way around it.
To mention Turkey's support for ISIS and the Muslim Brotherhood. So how significant was the destruction of this Hezbollah tunnel in southern Lebanon near Israel?
I think it's a big deal, and it's also symbolic. Last night on the Israeli media, they had to warn the public in northern Israel that they were going to hear these gargantuan booms, but don't worry about it. They were just blowing up a tunnel and all these weapons. So if you can imagine that just the sound of blowing it up miles from the border makes that much noise, then you could imagine what those tunnels were like and how much damage they could do, how they were prepared to attack Israel. It also shows how complex the situation is, because you've got the Lebanese army, which is weaker than Hezbollah, supposedly disarming them. So it's very complex for Israel and for Lebanon.
Well, there we go. The answer to a question. I couldn't find any of that response last night, so Israel is obviously responding. And I think there's a point there. Turkey, the leader of Turkey wants to become the mayor of Jerusalem. And they're part of the peace. I don't know.
Like you said, everything is so complicated in the Middle East.
It's very complicated.
Like, I personally have become, and I don't want to be a cynical person, but I just don't believe what I hear and see on the news.
You don't anymore.
You don't get the full picture.
But I asked a question. I said, let's just assume, don't write me any letters on this, but let's just assume those who hate Israel were able to wipe it out. What globally is accomplished? Iran wants it gone. Hezbollah wants it gone. The Houthis want it gone. Hamas wants it gone. Turkey wants it gone. Syria wants it gone. I mean, you can go on down the list there. All these people want Israel and all the Jews killed. Let's just assume for a moment that happens. What is possibly gained here?
On the advice of my counsel.
Oh, wait, I got that for you. Here.
Declined to answer
I wrote it down. I wrote it down. Here, read it. Oh, you can't read my writing. On the advice of my counsel, I respectfully invoked the rights under the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution and declined to answer the question.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I can read you your Miranda rights, where you can go get an attorney.
Let's move on.
Okay, let's move on. Where are we here? The weather. Let's take a look at it. Here's what's happening. It's going to be hot today around the region.
Here's a look at today's weather from Grange Co-op. Across northern Oregon and southern Washington, sunny skies with daytime highs in the upper 80s for Vancouver, Portland, Wilsonville, and McMinnville. Lows tonight settle back into the upper 50s to low 60s. Through the Willamette Valley, clear sunny conditions continue as temperatures climb in Salem with a high of 89, Albany 88, Corvallis 87, and down through Eugene near 89. Patchy smoke through central Oregon, then sunny and 95 for Prineville, while Bend and Sun River both top out at 93. In Boise, smoky before turning sunny and hot with a high of near 100. Along the Oregon coast, patchy fog gives way to sunshine in Coos Bay with a high of 72. Sunny skies continue in Port Orford near 70, while Brookings and Crescent City turn mostly sunny into the low to mid 60s. In southern Oregon, sunny and hot conditions persist with highs in the upper 90s for Grants Pass and Medford. Ashland and Klamath Falls top out in the mid 90s under clear sunny skies. Across northern California, sunny and hot in Wairika near 98. Redding climbs to 104, and Chico tops out at 101 with a slight south wind. Over in Fort Bragg, sunny in the mid-60s this afternoon. In the Bay Area, sunny skies with highs in the low 90s for Santa Rosa and 89 in Napa. San Francisco is cooler in the mid-70s, while San Jose sees a daytime high of 90. Triple digits, sunny and hot across Central California with highs near 100 at Sacramento, Stockton, and Modesto. Fresno, Visalia, and Bakersfield climb to a high of 104 with lows in the low 70s. That's a look at your Friday weather from Grange Co-op.
Hi, welcome back. Time for Jerry's Historical Archives. By the way, he's doing great. He's doing great. He has got cabin fever so bad. And I talked to him on the phone the other day, and he's begging me to bring his riding lawnmower back, and I won't take it
You
back.
won't?
No.
Did Pam co-lead with you?
Yeah, I went up and grabbed. That's a joke. Anyway,
But he may be back next week.
he could be. Yeah, we're working on that. So. Looking good. All right, good morning to you. Road trips. Yes, road trips. Talk to Steve Johnson. He could talk about road trips all day long, but this is a very special one that occurred on this day.
On July 31st, 1971, Apollo 15 astronauts David Scott and James Irwin took humanity's first road trip on another world, spending about 6.5 hours exploring the moon in the lunar roving vehicle. The battery-powered moon buggy could reach nearly 11 miles per hour, although Scott jokingly pushed it to almost 12. Built with lightweight aluminum and wire mesh wheels, it folded up to fit inside the lunar module and weighed just over 460 pounds on Earth, but on the moon it felt like only about 77 pounds thanks to the moon's weaker gravity. When the mission ended, the rover was left behind and is still sitting on the moon today. Its batteries are long dead, so it wouldn't simply drive away if someone found it, but its mechanical parts have been preserved in the moon's airless environment for more than 55 years. And now, as NASA and its international partners prepare to return to the moon, the next generation of lunar explorers will likely have even more advanced vehicles, proving that the very first moon road trip was only the beginning.
Really good camera quality there.
It is, and it's still up there.
The rover?
Yeah, the moon rover.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Christmas. It's 5 months away, and if you are into Christmas decorations, you can actually apply now to be the White House decorator. Not the decorator, but one of 150 or so volunteers. Applications are now being accepted. Our First Lady has announced that citizens of the United States over the age of 18 can submit their applications on the White House website, and about 150 volunteers will be selected by October. Now, when you become a volunteer, you do pay for your own airfare, you pay for your own accommodations and personal expenses, but 2 meals per day will be provided, and you will have shifts. So shift 1 would be November 23rd through November 25th, 3 days, 6 in the morning till 5 in the evening, and then the other shift would be from Friday to Sunday, the 27th to the 29th. And all these details are again on the White House website, so if you want to experience what it's like to decorate the White House and be part of that historic event, which happens every year, go ahead, submit
So what
your
are those
application.
dates again? So you have to be there to decorate it, then you have to stay through Christmas and then come back and help take it all down?
I don't think you have to take it down. That's not part of your decorating duties, but the duties of a volunteer would be either, so it's the week of Thanksgiving, Monday through Wednesday.
Oh, Thanksgiving, I'm sorry.
Yeah, or Friday through Sunday.
I thought you said December, it's November.
November.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
My mistake. First one I ever made in my life. You're laughing. Are you laughing at me?
No, I'm
Were you making
very
fun of me?
serious. No, but I think that would be a good one for Peggy because she's so good at decorating. I'm looking here to see what else. No, that's it. Yeah, apply and let us know. Would love to interview you afterwards.
That'd be great. That means maybe you could have Thanksgiving at the White House?
Well, for Thanksgiving, they are pausing it because obviously the first family will have their festivities, and that's where the shifts will switch. So the first shift will be over, and then the second shift will begin. So you can still be home for Thanksgiving.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back.
We want to see it. Open up the floodgates. A mighty river flowing from your heart, filling every part of our
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
If you don't drive it, donate it. By supporting us, you'll get even more mileage out of it.
Thank you from the Dove TV. Millions are struggling with life and their walk with God. Transformed is a groundbreaking series seen right here on the Dove TV that every week takes you behind closed doors to witness biblical counseling with real people facing real issues.
It was common to me to feel like I just wanted to escape.
It could be anxiety, depression, addictions, or other concerns. No issue is taken off the table.
To just get the pain out of my head and out of my heart.
The Bible has answers to life's problems. God's wisdom is better than man's. Lives are changed because God's hope is offered, not just treating the symptoms.
It's through the eyes of faith. Trusting what God says and being willing to obey what God says, even if it's not what you immediately feel.
Join Dr. Greg Gifford and see lives transformed from brokenness to wholeness. Mondays at 8:30 and Thursdays at 5, only on the Dove TV.
All right, welcome back. Yesterday, Helena, she gets the guest for Focus Today. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So many great ones. Yesterday, we had Pastor Robert Morgan. He's really an amazing author. His books have sold millions all over the world. I just finished the book, excuse me, that he did on the 23rd Psalm, "The Lord is my shepherd." And starting another book dealing with God has strength for you. And he and his wife took 12 key scriptures dealing with strength and wrote a book on them. And of course, there's hundreds of verses that deal with strength in the Bible. And all of this came out of, he was borderline burned out himself. He talks about how he got to the edges of burnout, but how he got himself out of it. So in the middle of that, he was talking about how he would step back and he'd have to literally talk to himself. So I asked him the question, I said, what about the verse that says, be still and know? You know, that sometimes you just got to stop what you're doing and know that God is in your life. How do you handle that when you're trying to work your way through potential burnout? And anyway, here's what he had to say.
Billy Graham's wife, Ruth Graham, was one of my mentors, and she taught me to have a little notebook and an open Bible and a desk somewhere and maybe a cup of coffee or a cup of hot tea and just spend time with the Lord, listening to him by reading my Bible in a methodical way and pondering what I was reading there, meditating on it, and then turning it back into prayer. And so to me, that is the most important daily practice when it comes to being still. It's my daily quiet time. But then we need breaks, don't we? I've got to get away occasionally just to the mountains or to the beach, or maybe I've got to take an afternoon off and just sit in the backyard. And we are so busy. I mean, busy is the middle name of everyone that I know. And we become so busy that our minds are swirling. We feel like the globe is spinning faster and faster, and it's about to fling us off. And sometimes we need to take a hike along a quiet lake or do something and just settle down and do a little something for ourselves in the presence of the Lord. So on a daily basis, it's my quiet time. On an occasional basis, it is just getting away to take stock, to reevaluate, to take a deep breath, and to enjoy life a little bit. God intends for us to enjoy life. He wants us to be full of joy and not full of all of this pressure that we're putting ourselves under all the time.
Well, even Jesus told the disciples, get in the boat, come apart for a while, or you will come apart. And he puts them in the boat and sends them out. Let me give you a little test. So this is rhetorical, so just think about it, okay? When's the last time you were able to concentrate enough to memorize Scripture? And the other thing is, ask yourself this: could you stop and literally concentrate on the name of Jesus for 1 minute? And I will almost guarantee you, you can't. That's how busy our minds are. That's how busy the culture has interrupted us and has moved us into go, 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 you know. This devotional that we put out 4,000 or 5,000 here just in Southern Oregon. Around the world, 248 million people read this last year. Okay, but it's designed for only 3 minutes of reading.
Yeah.
Just 3 minutes to change your thought pattern, to put something in there to combat everything else that's coming at you. But try this little test. Ask yourself, could you concentrate on the name of Jesus for 1 minute without thinking about something else? And you will discover just how clouded and crowded your mind is. And secondly, when's the last time you were able to sit down and literally commit to memory a verse of Scripture? And that'll tell you how busy your mind is.
Yeah. Well, in one of the ancient prayer practices out there, you and Father Seraphim had talked about the Jesus prayer.
Yeah.
Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me. And it's not vain repetition when you concentrate on the name of Jesus like that.
No.
And sometimes going to sleep or just trying to have those peaceful moments, I'll try it. And of course, after a few times, your mind does wander. But those few moments when you actually are reciting that, it's so powerful. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner.
Yeah.
It really helps you.
Just repeat it.
Yeah.
Repeat it a bunch of times. Okay.
All right. Well, dogs are cute, and when you lose them, it's heartbreaking. So this story is so sweet, where a four-legged rescue took place in San Francisco.
What started as a terrifying swim through San Francisco Bay ended with a happy reunion for one very determined little dog. Prieta had been missing since the 4th of July when someone spotted her paddling farther and farther into the bay and called 911. Firefighters, police officers, and a drone team sprang into action. Using GPS coordinates from the drone, rescuers guided a boat straight to the exhausted pup and pulled her safely from the water just in time. Police later joked that the rescue looked more like an action movie than a cat stuck in a tree call, especially after Prieta survived repeated dive-bombing attacks from a flock of seagulls. After a quick checkup, Prieta was reunited with the family who had been searching for her for weeks. For her emotional owner, who had recently lost several family members, getting her beloved dog back was the best homecoming she could have imagined.
Cute little
He's
guy.
adorable. Yes.
Gosh, how could he be in that cold water out there that long?
Well, was she there that long, or was she
Well,
was
in the
just
bay.
spotted there?
I don't know.
But been somewhere else for the few days, yeah.
Wow.
Well, thank God she's safe.
I take with you the Gospel of Mark, chapter 10, verse 45. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life a ransom for many. That is the gospel. Be careful out there, really dry and hot today.
Hi, I'm Paulina Leiser, producer and host of The Ancient Church. Join me Sunday evenings as we explore Orthodox Christianity, its history, theology, worship, and living traditions.
The Ancient Church, Sundays at 6 p.m. on the Dove TV.
When life feels heavy, your body feels it, your mind feels it. That is why I created Organic Elements Wellness Spa, a place where wellness is not a luxury, it's a way of life. Step into our wellness lounge with a Himalayan salt room, infrared sauna, steam room, and invigorating cold plunge. Restore your nervous system, detox your body, and clear your mind. Then experience customized massage, advanced skin therapies, and result-driven facials, all designed to help you look as good as you feel. There's nothing else like this in Southern Oregon. This is your space to heal, to reset, to glow. Call today to book your private wellness party for up to 15 guests, or surprise someone special with a gift certificate.
Visit Organic Elements Wellness Spa on East Main Street in Medford. Book online at organicelementspa.com. Wellness is wholeness. Voted best of Southern Oregon.
Most people have no idea what their money is funding. That's why it's so important to know who you're investing in and what they stand for. At Financial Issues, we help Christians invest with biblical values. Our daily live broadcast covers the economy, markets, and even politics through a financial lens grounded in a biblical worldview. Watch Financial Issues daily at 5 p.m. Pacific Time right here on the Dove.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site, in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare. Your loved one can spend the day with us, and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
You're watching the Dove TV, encouraging and informative for Salem, Kaiser, and the Willamette Valley. Seen on KSLM 27 and these Dove TV affiliates.
Well, welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson, and of course, we are all kind of have our brains on tilt as a result of an amazing hearing in the U.S. Senate as it relates to Dr. Fauci and all that's going on. Well, it's perfect timing and always an honor when we have time to sit down with John O'Connor, former federal prosecutor, experienced trial lawyer, author of a couple of books that are fascinating, Postgate and How the Washington Post Betrayed Deep Throat and Covered Up Watergate, which began today's what we call partisan advocacy journalism, no question about that. He has served as an assistant U.S. attorney in Northern California, representing the United States both in criminal and civil cases. The book, you can go to the website, postgatebook.com, and you can also check out the other book that goes along with that, The Mysteries of Watergate. So, Brother John, I want to start the show by saying that on the advice of my counsel, I respectfully invoked my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution and declined to answer any questions.
Maybe that's what I should be doing. I'm the guest here. I think I'm just going to take the fifth, Perry, anytime you give me a hard one here.
John, what was your take of that whole exchange?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. He actually didn't want to testify. I mean, he could have testified knowing that he wasn't really going to be prosecuted. Now, technically, his lawyer is correct. He could take the fifth. There is a possibility of prosecution, especially since his pardon was only for federal crimes. Those same things he did wrong back in the past, and there were many, could be theoretically prosecuted by state officials. And also, he could have done something since the pardon. But he really just didn't want to testify because it was so embarrassing. There's no good answers that he could come up with. Think about this. The fellow caused how much, first of all, just in dollars, trillions of dollars that the government spent that we're paying for now with high mortgage rates and so forth. It caused inflation, the Biden's silly COVID Act, Recovery Act. But more than that, think of the millions of lives of these young children and older children that were ruined. We have a good friend whose son committed suicide in his isolation. He was a high school kid, and they're still devastated. And Anthony Fauci did that to them. He knew that this disease, first of all, that he had caused it. He was the one who set up the contract with Wuhan, going around President Obama's edict not to do any more gain-of-function research. He cleverly went around it through third parties and funded it. He funded not a top-level lab in terms of its safety protocols. And then he lied about that to Rand Paul before. He lied about it many times that he didn't fund this. Then he lied about it not being a lab leak. It was a lab leak, and you could tell by the sequence in the virus. There's a CGG sequence that a couple of doctors came out with right away. It showed that it was a splice, an artificial splice in a lab, and Fauci denied that. And as he says on the tape, 10 of his associate scientists all thought it was a lab leak. So you have that. But more importantly, the most important thing was the morbidity. He knew the morbidity was much lower than he was telling the public. He knew that there's no need, for instance, to ever quarantine children or not let them go to school. The teachers are going to have to do what they do. Whether the teachers want a mask or something, that's up to them. But it really was not a dangerous thing. We needed herd immunity. If anything, he kept us from having the kind of immunity that we should have in something like this. This ended up being nothing more than a bit more dangerous flu. Flattening the curve for a month was probably a good idea, I think, only because from what I see, from what I read, the virus would mutate to a more friendly form so it could invade its host better. So maybe that flattening the curve was a good thing for a month. I think Trump's instincts were actually pretty good, just sort of common sense instincts. Now we got to get back to it. But think about what he did. Think about what he did. And now, Perry, in this moment of truth, when we have his diary in his own words telling about the morbidity and so forth, the television stations like CNN, the media, MS Now, CBS, they're not making a big deal of this. And as a matter of fact, it's considered almost ugly to talk about it because you're just being nasty. It's another right-wing nasty project, and I'm that bothers me more than anything when you talk about the loss of this. It's just it's stunning to me.
Yeah, I think we're all stunned. Even the Democrats during the committee that were defending him, you kind of go, your brain goes on tilt. But let's unpack this a little bit, John. Some basic questions, and forgive me if I seem to be pretty simple here, but does a blanket pardon eliminate self-incrimination?
Well, yes, it does. I mean, he could come in and say yes, at least in terms of the federal possibilities. He could come in and say, yeah, I lied for those 4 years. I lied from 20, 21, 22, all those were lies. Yes, I did. Ha, ha, ha. I've got the Fifth Amendment. He can say that. And I intended to do it. I intended to tell a lie. And so, yes, that is the case. He could have done that.
The other question is, you've mentioned here, this only deals with federal law. So could attorney generals in all 50 states file a suit against him and get him?
Yes, assuming they had jurisdiction. He clearly, Virginia and Maryland, I assume that you have to have some connection to the state. Now, in some states, it may be enough that the lies or what have you came in through the airwaves. The matter of jurisdiction is a little bit tricky as to whether a crime was actually committed, for example, in Idaho. Was this committed in Idaho? If he lied about different things. But yeah, I think state attorney generals can get him. He is giving advice. The advice is going into, say, Texas. I've had cases like this before when something has happened in another state, and you can say that there was sort of the part of the crime occurred in some fashion in the state at issue. No, it's a tricky matter, but I'll just tell you, there's a good possibility you can do it, is what I'm saying.
Okay. Isn't it interesting that he was pardoned for something that he had not yet been convicted of?
Well, it is interesting because he knew, remember, he campaigned for that pardon. Biden just didn't give it to him. He campaigned very hard for it because he knew what he had done. He knew that he was very, very vulnerable. Rand Paul had asked him some very probing questions, right on point, and he lied about them. So he lied to Paul constantly. Like, for instance, I'll give you an easy one. He said he didn't have anything to do with the gain of function research, that he didn't fund it. And he did, so he just lied. And he was very convincing. I thought, boy, this guy I mean, I knew the facts, and I'm looking at him testify. I said, boy, the guy sells it very well. He's a very good liar. He's tremendous. And most people looking at it say, oh, yeah, Fauci's telling the truth. I mean, I knew in my mind that he was lying, but yet he was very, very persuasive.
Is there any is there any gray area on the fact that it appears that the blanket pardon was signed by the auto pen?
I don't think so. I think everyone hopes that that will be the case for one's favorite criminal, but I think they're going to close ranks. The Biden White House is going to close ranks. The story's always going to be, somebody went to the president and gave him a list of people, and he said, yes, I agree to pardon them. Go ahead. You can sign it. And it's really just a question of authority. Oftentimes in legal cases, the question is, was there authority for Joe Blow to bind Chevron, the corporation? Well, was he an agent? So forth. Was he given this ability by Chevron to make this deal? So it's all a question of fact. And in this case, Biden's not going to admit that was demented.
Yeah.
And he's going to claim he was in control. Do I think he was? No. I think there were guys running in using this auto pen and making a ton of money. They were selling these pardons. I mean, people on the left don't want to confront. The evidence was clear. This is one of the most corrupt presidents we've had. On the Hunter Biden laptop, he's taking half of the Hunter's fees. Hunter admits that. So, the auto pen is not going to get us anywhere, unfortunately.
To your point that Dr. Fauci seemed to be a very convincing, powerful, pathological liar. Okay, and in his delivery of his lie, he was so powerful in its delivery, it seemed to be convincing to some. But at the end of the day, there is an overriding accountability board. Are they now complicit and culpable of the crime because they didn't hold him down?
Well, I don't think so. I think he was in a position where he was the man. Nobody is going to gainsay Dr. Fauci. He was in that position. He had the whole country transfixed. Didn't matter what Trump would say. Everybody believed Fauci. I don't think there's anybody else that can be held accountable. I suppose what you could say is there are people on his staff or high-level people out there, Francis Collins or the one, I think who the lady doctor is that he talks about. They could have stood up and said, this is nonsense. I know that Fauci doesn't believe this. He told me X. So, yes, there is some guilt on them. I don't think they're, Deborah Birx is her name. I don't think they're really responsible for crimes. It's a little bit tougher to prove them guilty of anything because they didn't make these statements.
It just seems so odd because his diary say one thing, his public proclamation says something else, and he would write in his diary, you would think, what was discussed with his board or his accountability group, but I guess not. I don't know.
Well, let's even assume he did. Let's even assume he told them the things that he said in his diary. I know when he had his 12 witnesses around, 12 scientists, they all agreed it was a lab leak. I'm not sure. Well, first of all, we don't know what he told the accountability board, what the accountability board knew. They could be Buffalo just like we are.
Yeah.
How much, for instance, the morbidity, what did he really talk about in terms of the morbidity? That to me is the key lie. If he knew that the morbidity was not as high as he was telling people, he's horrible. He's a horrible person. He ruined millions of lives. But now how much he admitted that to them, that he's saying one thing in public and he really believes something else, we don't know that. That's the problem.
His conduct almost seems monstrous. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think that's the case. His ego is so monstrous. Think about that. Think about this guy's ego and that he's talking about. So this is a fellow who's really, I hate to say it, almost devilish. You know, he's a man who understands power, and who is the father of lies?
Yep.
The devil.
Yep.
And you see it right there. This is a horrible man. It's a horrible man that's doing this. He knows he's doing this to all these people, and he is getting tremendous fame and power. All the riches and glory of the world are his. He's probably making a lot of money out of this. He was very good about making money, but mainly the power and the glory were just overwhelming.
Got several more questions, but let me ask you one quick one before we take a break. His attorney got expelled. It was quite a scene. I'm sure you watched it. And he was not being recognized. He was sitting at a table he was told not to sit. How damaging is that to an attorney to be expelled like that?
Well, I think he can sell it as being an interference with Dr. Fauci's right to have representation. I actually didn't like the fact that he was expelled. Because the guy does have a right to have counsel there. He's got these Fifth Amendment issues. So if one wants to be a purist, I think you'll find an awful lot of lawyers like me who will say, I don't care how bad a person this is, he has a right to counsel, and it's the American way. And it bothered me a little bit that his lawyer got kicked out, frankly. But as monstrous as Fauci was.
Wasn't the issue, though, John, he was being kicked out because he was answering the question on behalf of Fauci. He wasn't telling Fauci what to say. He actually was responding for Fauci. That's what got him in the trouble, right?
You know, I didn't see that. That's the problem. I wasn't watching everything. If he did do that, he's out of order. I agree.
Yeah,
he has no right to do that.
Yeah, he was speaking, and that's what he got called on. In other words, you were not being recognized to speak in behalf of your client. You're not being recognized. He was speaking directly to the chairman. Now, he has every right to sit there and advise his client. But I think what got him in the trouble was that he was making statements directly to the chairman, and the chairman says, you're not recognized. And he kept telling him, and then finally out it goes. So I understand your point, because he had other lawyers sitting behind him that were sitting there giving him advice.
Well, let me just say that, Perry, I'm a little bit off on that because I didn't witness that.
Okay.
If he was objecting, if you remember Brandon Sullivan, the lawyer for Oliver North, who's trying to make objections, and he said, what do you think I am, a potted plant? I listened to him making objections. If the fellow were making objections, that's one thing, but of course, I don't know what objections he needed to make here, but so I'd have to look at this again. If he's speaking, you're right. If he is speaking and not just simply objecting to a point of order or so forth, I agree that's probably not correct conduct. I do agree with that. I just didn't see it. You caught me a little bit unawares.
Yeah, no worries. It's just the whole thing was kind of interesting. All right, let me take a quick break. I have some more questions. Check out John's website and book called postgatebook.com. That's the place to connect, and those books are so relevant to today. Check them out. We'll be right back.
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? Want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life? Now's the time to call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
The Dove TV, encouraging and informative for the Fresno Visalia area on new full-power KEDZ TV, seen on cable, satellite TV, and over the air. The Dove TV, encouraging and informative for the Fresno Visalia area on new full-power KEDZ TV.
All right, welcome back. Perfect timing. Always an honor to have John O'Connor with us, former federal prosecutor, certainly an experienced trial lawyer, author of a couple of books that I think you'll find fascinating and very relative to today. Check them out, Postgate Book at postgatebook.com. And there's the sequel to it, The Mysteries of Watergate, very applicable to what we're seeing, it, even with this case with Dr. Fauci. A lot of the news, the legacy news, not even covering it, just writing it off, is a bad day. John, I want to come back to the exchange, and at the end of the day, there were two words that popped up, and so let me throw them at you, and then we'll see what the protocols is and how they're going to be followed up on. One is contempt, and the other one's obstruction. Is he guilty of those now?
Well, there is an argument he's guilty of contempt. I'll tell you what it is. He did what Lois Lerner did at her hearing. She was the person who slow walked all the conservative 501c3 companies for Obama so that they couldn't participate in the election. What she did and he did was they made a statement in front of Congress, which was testimony, and then they refused to answer questions about that testimony. There is a very good argument that he has waived his Fifth Amendment rights by coming into a forum under subpoena and testifying as to the subject matter, and then refusing then to answer questions, cross-examination about that. I was the young guy on a Patricia Hearst trial, and I convinced the judge that she had waived her right to cross-examination as to certain parts of her testimony because she had dipped her toe into a particular area that her lawyers, F. Lee Bailey, was seeking to keep from her being cross-examined. Oh. The judge said, no, you talked a little bit about this particular area. Now the door is open. You can cross-examine her. And so the argument would be that even though he has a Fifth Amendment right, as Patricia Hearst did, once you testify about something, you are opening the door to cross-examination, and he can be in contempt. And that's the main issue. I don't know that there's any obstruction here. Now, if depending on what his lawyer was doing, I don't know. Maybe he obstructed as well. But I don't think they're going to get the lawyer for anything. But yeah, that's the argument for Fauci.
Okay, so it looks like the committee is going to have a contempt vote. It probably will go down party lines. At that point, the case in itself is kind of an interesting one. Let's just assume for a moment that the committee votes votes him in contempt of Congress, which is a bad day. Does it go to the Senate for full vote, or under the circumstances, does it go to the DOJ?
Boy, that's a question for procedure. I think it probably has to be the full Senate that does a referral. But now that I think about it, actually anybody can refer a crime to the U.S. attorney. I mean, I could do it. I mean, theoretically, I could say to the U.S. attorney in Washington, D.C., I'm a citizen. I think this is a crime. Go at it. So they can look at it. I don't think they need a referral. And certainly, if he's being held in contempt by the committee that's having the hearing, they may have authority to do that. And so that's really almost a question of procedure as opposed to substance. But I suspect that the committee itself, in front of whom he is testifying, and not the whole Senate, then I think that body probably can consider him in contempt. I think I would even think the chairman would be very influential there, but I think he would probably feel he needed a vote. I think probably the chairman might have that authority. So but I'm going around and around here, but I do think that they can do it without the full Senate.
All right. So that tells me that the Senate rules, as it relate to chairman's authorities and committees, that's the area you and I don't know. If the Senate rules allows the Senate chairman to have this kind of authority, wow. Okay. So if they vote him in contempt, in spite of all the bad things that he's done, the only thing he can be charged for at this point would be contempt.
That's right. That's right. That's all he could be charged with, and I'm thinking that this is the kind of contempt that you do need a judicial finding. That is to say, a finding by a court or a jury. You can be held in contempt by a judge in court without a trial if he's not putting you in jail for less than 6 months. So sometimes lawyers have just been sent to jail by the judge, and you can do that. But this is the kind of contempt that I think you need an actual jury determination. So query, is a guy like this ever going to be convicted? I think Steve Bannon was convicted and Peter Navarro was convicted, but I don't know that Fauci probably pretty tough to get a conviction here, I think.
Do you see any other potential loopholes in this?
Well, the only one I would say is that there could be a contention by Congress that what we were asking about was his actions within Washington, D.C., and we were asking during the pardon period. That's what our focus really was, and that he was required to answer. Now, at one point, Rand Paul asked him, is that a folder you have in front of you, just to sort of be funny about this? And Fauci took the fifth. Well, it's probably an irrelevant question, but the fact is he can't take the fifth on something that is happening past the pardon time.
Right.
You know, if he was asking Fauci, okay, now after Biden left office on January 21st, 2025, did you think this? Did you do X? Did you say X? Did you feel this? Did you do that? Then he wouldn't have any Fifth Amendment right at all.
Okay, because I was watching that part of it when Senator Paul was giving dates as it relates to a pardon. That's significant. I mean, that's putting things out there. And the fact that he pleaded fifth on something that he wasn't pardoned for, does that set him up for anything?
I mean, technically speaking, he's committed. He's in contempt. Yeah, okay. I mean, he had to answer those questions.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not so sure they put. There wasn't a lot of substantive questions that were put that way. There could have been some clever ways to really get into the substance of what his lies and try to frame them. So, did you think this after this date, or what did you say after this date? Or you could go back in time to the pardon time, and you could ask him in a way that you would say did not implicate law breaking in Virginia or Maryland or some other place, some other state. Mm-hmm. Because remember, D.C. is the only place where there is no separate state law. So if you get a federal pardon, then anything you do within Washington, D.C., you're exempt from, as long as that's the only local jurisdiction that could prosecute you, then that pardon works. Now, then the question is, would any of this implicate potential crimes in Virginia or Maryland? For instance, let's say he's lying about something, but he lies about it. I don't know where he lives, if he lives in Virginia or where. But you could say that maybe some of this spills over into Virginia, so he's not pardoned under Virginia law. I mean, so there's a lot of technicalities
I understand
that you can play here, but,
one last one. Back to the state's potential going after him. Is there any statutes that would preclude a state from filing charges?
I don't think so. I don't think there's. I think you would really it would go back to his crimes from, say, 1920 and 21. Now, you might have some statute of limitations problems right now, mm-hmm. because most of his lies were told in 20 and 21. Right. But let's get apart from that. Yes, there could be crimes that you could say violated our law of our particular state. And we think those statements came into our state under the airways, that he knew he was addressing people in Idaho, and he's telling us a lie. And under Statute X, that's a crime in Idaho. So yeah, somebody could do it. You got a statute of limitations problem now, but that's what I would think now. So,
John, I don't know how you sleep at night knowing what you know.
You know what I do, Perry? It's so, I used to yell at the TV a lot. I say, I'm not going to do this anymore. Every time something like this happens, I'm going to write an article about it and then just go about my business. I put it out there. I've said my piece, and that's what prompts me to write things, because there's so much craziness out there, and it's really, really, our society is really riven. There's some really terrible things going on and progressing more and more.
Yeah. John, thank you for your time. We value it greatly. God bless you, friend. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, check out John's books, Postgate Book, and you go to postgatebook.com is the website to check them both out. It's pretty interesting how these books parallel what's going on with the media today. God bless you, friend. Look forward to more visits. Have a great day.
Here.
Okay.
Hey, this is Ed, co-owner of Visiting Angels. To continue to serve our seniors, we need more caregivers with a heart to serve. Our mission statement is honoring the art of giving, which means we honor you, the caregiver. We know it's our people that make Visiting Angels the best in-home care provider and a great place to work. Come be our next amazing caregiver. Give us a call or apply online. At Visiting Angels, we're committed to you because we honor the art of giving.
Do events in the world leave you confused and scratching your head? A world where up is down and down is up.
I'm Perry Atkinson. Mornings on the Dove knows how you feel. We're here to offer God's hope and encouragement and to help you to sort it all out.
And I'm Jerry Bilden. Mornings on the Dove alerts you to issues and events the mainstream media would rather you not know or know the truth.
A lot in the news today, some movement around in the Middle East, common sense discussions on today's headlines, and rational perspective on what's really going on.
That will leave you better informed and encouraged by the gospel.
In this upside-down world, there's one place you can trust to get it straight.
Check into Mornings on the Dove each day to find out what's really going on and to be encouraged.
Mornings on the Dove, weekdays from 6 to 8 a.m. on the Dove TV and radio. Streaming online at thedove.us, Roku, and Apple TV. The Dove, encouraging and informative.
Orthodox Christianity has existed for 2,000 years. Yet many people know very little about its history, its worship, or the ancient Christian faith it preserves. Hi, I'm Paulina Leiser. Join me each week as we explore the beauty and depth of this historic Christian tradition and its place in the modern world.
Don't miss The Ancient Church, conversations about Orthodox Christianity. Sundays at 6 p.m. on the Dove TV.
Well, welcome back, and I've been looking forward to having back with us today Dr. Lawrence Reed. He's the President Emeritus of the Foundation of Economic Education, where he served for more than 3 decades. He's the internationally recognized author in many books, a historian, speaker on liberty, economics, and the American history. His latest book, Born of Ideas, fascinating read. Born of Ideas, how principles, faith, courage forged America, and explored that ideas gave birth to America, to the American experiment, and continue to shape our nation today. By the way, Dr. Reed does have a website, lawrencereed.com is the website, and there's the picture of that landing page, lawrencereed, REED.com. Dr. Reed, good to see you, friend. How are you?
Hey, great, Perry. Thanks for having me. One minor correction. There is a W in that website address.
Lawrence. Oh, I didn't see it.
That's all right. LawrenceWReed.com.
It's between the E and the R.
Yeah. Well, sorry to have to correct you there, but it's a minor thing.
No. Lawrence W. Reed. All right, thank you. Good to see you. Well, thanks for your time. Fascinating book. You kind of zeroed down on the idea thing. What led you to go down that road?
I've always had a great fascination with the founders of this country and what they did. And I picked up once on a quote of John Adams, who was, of course, a leader of the American Revolutionary cause and later our second president. And he said very eloquently, I think at the time he was president, that the revolution in America did not begin in 1776, that rather there was a revolution first in the ideas and in the minds and in the hearts of Americans. And by 1776, that had gone into full blossom into conflict with England. So I wanted to look a little bit at some of those events prior to the Declaration and see just what it was that animated our ancestors by the 1770s.
All right, so let's start with the first one, the Mayflower Compact. I think we talk about it, but we don't really examine it. What did you get out of it?
Well, I think this is a crucially important document in American history, and yet it's not given even to this day the full measure of gratitude and recognition that it deserves. It encapsulates better than any other single thing from the 17th century what America would become all about, why America was exceptional. The Mayflower Compact was written on the Mayflower, which brought the Pilgrims to North America in 1620. It was a compact or agreement between the Pilgrims, about 52 of them, all of them on the vessel, and about an equal number of others that the investors in the project put on the ship. They weren't there for the same reason the Pilgrims were. It wasn't religious persecution. They were put on the ship because they had certain skills and trades and so forth that the investors thought would be helpful to the Pilgrims. But the ship was blown hundreds of miles off course. Instead of landing in what is today Virginia, the Pilgrims approached Cape Cod, well north, which is part of today's Massachusetts. And so when that became apparent, a day or two before they landed, there started to be some friction between the Pilgrims and the strangers. The strangers said, hey, we're so far off course, we don't feel bound by this agreement anymore. And once we land, we may go off on our own or take the first boat home. And so the Pilgrims realized they needed to stick together, that this was a perilous venture. They needed everybody. And so they came up with what historian Rebecca Fraser calls the first document in the history of the world about governance between two groups of people that didn't involve a monarch. Previous ones like the Magna Carta were agreements between a group of people and their king. But this was two groups of people who said, hey, when we land, we're going to form a system of self-government. We're not going to lord it over anybody. We're not going to compel anybody to accept any particular faith. We're not going to tyrannize over you. Everyone will have a say in this government. Well, that's what America ultimately became all about. And yet it took its first form in that important document in 1620 on a ship.
Okay. We're watching something happen in our country. We kind of got our brain on tilt with the rise of socialism. And part of that movement is destroying anything that would be historically, cemented in faith. How are you handling that?
Well, in one sense, it's an age-old battle, isn't it? We've always in America had people who wanted to strip away any recognition to those who came before who were animated by faith in Christianity. So it's just a new phase, a different form of the same old battle. But I think you have to look at America and its founding as profoundly influenced by people who were fleeing religious persecution and ultimately set up a constitution in the late 1780s, which for the first time in world history, proclaimed that our national government would not establish any particular church, nor would it interfere with the free practice of any particular faith. I mean, that was a remarkable development. And it springs from ideas that were percolating among the colonists for decades before the Constitution was written.
Back to the subject of ideas. It appears to me that the ideas that our founding fathers had, and even from the Pilgrims forward, it didn't seem to be one idea, but they were key ideas. And sometimes, if you've ever been to the National Monument of the Forefathers, they're capsulated there. It's kind of mind-boggling. By the way, that's a monument that very few people visit, but everybody ought to visit it. What's your reflection on that?
Well, I actually am one of those who haven't yet visited. I've been to lots of other historic places, from the Mayflower to the Museum of the American Revolution in Philadelphia and so forth, but I've not been to that particular monument yet.
Well, it deals with the ideas of education, deals with the ideas of society, it deals with the ideals of civil government. I mean, it's pretty interesting. But these are ideas that I think that we forget. Somehow our ideas get wrapped up in war. It's not about war. It's about these ideas. And yes. And you write about that. I'm just trying to figure out, did any one of these pop out more than anything else?
Any one of what are you referring to, Perry? Sorry.
Well, okay. What about the idea of self-government?
Oh, okay. Yeah, self-government. Well, the Mayflower Compact underscored that. It was a document for self-government. And all through the 1700s, of course, you have ideas from the European Enlightenment, I think, that were coming over to America. I think we were pretty good at selecting the best of the Enlightenment ideas and rejecting the worst. But one of those ideas was the notion that the king should rule by the consent of the governed, that we can't take his word for it if he just claims that God told him to do it, that he has to prove himself, and his job is to not lord it over people, but to serve the people that he's in charge of, you might say. And increasingly, to serve meant to liberate, to be free, to be wise, and but rather distant from the people you govern. Let them run their own lives. That was very much an American idea.
All right, so let's go to economics. Where was economics introduced?
Well, right from the start, when the Pilgrims landed, they landed in November in Massachusetts, or what is now Massachusetts. So they were late. There was no time to plant anything, and winter was about to begin. So they had to hunker down and make do, and some died in that first winter. But then they had to follow a rule that the investors set up for them, which was kind of a communal socialism. That rule said that whatever they produced, they should put it into a common storehouse and then equally distribute it to everybody. So we had our first experiment in a kind of communal socialism. Governor Bradford, who left us a fantastic diary about these early years of the Plymouth settlement in Massachusetts, rather quickly he says this had a profoundly negative impact on the colony, because he found that increasingly people were just sort of sleeping in the morning. They wouldn't put in much time in the fields because they were thinking, well, why should I work hard when I get the same as the next guy who does? Mm-hmm. And so he had to end that arrangement and said, hey, we're going to starve if we keep on that path. So that was a great lesson in the economics of socialism. That is, it is a prescription for disaster. And to remedy that, Governor Bradford then said, okay, we're going to take the land that we've got here, we're going to parcel it out. I'm going to give you each a chunk of land. It'll be yours. You can grow on it what you want, sell of it whatever you can, get whatever price you can get in a free marketplace. And all of a sudden, with that incentive arrangement radically different, the colony began to prosper. They got rid of socialism, and under a kind of capitalism, private property, they prospered. Great lesson.
Is it ever? Let me take a quick break here. Check out Dr. Reed's book. I think you'll find it to be fascinating, called Born of Ideas, How Principles, Faith, and Courage Forged America. There's a picture of the cover of the book. His website is lawrencewreed.com. There's a picture of that landing page. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Buying or selling a home can be stressful. It's one of the biggest decisions you'll make in your lifetime. That's why it's important to work with someone you trust, someone who has the right experience and knowledge of the market.
Hi, we're Patrick and Paulina Leiser with Leiser Real Estate Group.
And whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, our mission is to take the stress out of the transaction and make it as seamless and rewarding as possible.
Contact us today. We look forward to working with you.
Friday, a baby born at 23 weeks.
She has a slim chance to live.
She spends the next 3 months fighting for her life.
Is she going to survive all of this?
What happened when she coded?
No life. Everything's flatline.
And the miracle that brought her back.
We have a pulse, and he literally brings my baby back to life. You can call Jesus if you can get him on the line.
Friday on the 700 Club, right here on the Dove TV. In a time when our culture faces unprecedented challenges,
I want to talk about the role of a Christian even in a hostile culture.
Christian apologist and evangelist Alex McFarland addresses the hard-hitting questions about faith, morality, and culture.
People are hungry for truth, and we've got to rise to the challenge of our assignment as the church.
Know your faith better to be equipped to defend it in a world searching for answers.
But when you put the face of an earthly man on God, then you're never going to understand who God is.
God takes pleasure in you, and the very sight of you is joy and blessing.
Alex McFarland, inspiring believers through apologetics to boldly stand for truth in a critical time. Catch him Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday on the Dove TV. Encouraging and informative. More at thedove.us.
Okay, welcome back. What an honor to have with us today Dr. Lawrence Reed, President Emeritus of the Foundation of Economic Education. His book is a fascinating book. It's called Born of Ideas, How Principles, Faith, and Courage Forged America. There's a picture of the cover of the book. You can get that online, Dr. Reed?
Yes, it's available for pre-order now on Amazon, and eventually you'll be able to get it from a lot of places.
Okay, and his website is lawrencewreed.com. Back to self-government and that issue, there's this move now that our rights come from government, you know the drill, versus rights that exist independent of government. That struggle is really in front of us today. And with that, if government's going to be the arbiter of all of our rights, there goes capitalism and free market. How do you, as an economist, look at today's struggle between capitalism and, let's say, socialism? How are you stomaching that?
Good question. I take a lot of Advil. Well, on the one hand, you have to deal with this fight, and it's been around forever. But I shake my head all the time and think to myself as I listen to the arguments of the socialists that these have been so thoroughly rebutted and refuted and demolished time and time again that I've become convinced that socialists typically really aren't interested in evidence or reason or logic or real experience, that they're animated by their good intentions and they don't care what they actually produce, because time and again, without fail, socialism leads to economic disaster and usually moral corruption as well. So, we're in a battle where the outcome is not going to be determined simply by facts. If that were the case, we'd win every single battle, those of us who believe in freedom and free markets and capitalism. We're in a battle with people who are very emotional. They have their dogma, and they're not interested in real world results. They're interested in simply beating their breasts, engaging in virtue signaling, and wrapping themselves in the mantle of good intentions, whether they produce bad results or not.
So I like reading business books. It's kind of a fun thing to do once in a while. But, in that I've discovered patterns of businesses that started small and became major, major corporations in America. And during their beginning days, if it wasn't for capitalism and free market, they probably wouldn't have made it. But they made it, and they became big. Then they become kind of like philanthropists to the social nonsense.
Yeah.
Where do they lose that? Don't they understand that the very thing they built the hard way would be taken from them if they continue to go down that road?
Well, fortunately, there are still a lot of exceptions to that. In fact, when I think of the supporters of our organization, the Foundation for Economic Education, they tend to be not the big, long-standing, gigantic corporations. They tend to be people who run, to this day, the very business that they started. And they understand, for the most part, that they had to work hard to get where they were, and that there were failures along the way, that success was never guaranteed, and that the more the government takes from them, the less they're going to have for investment and hiring and growing their business. But, so many people, like about 90% of us, have gone through government schools in K-12. And simply these days, notions of entrepreneurship, free enterprise, how markets work, why capitalism succeeds and socialism fails, these are lessons that are not widely taught. And so some of these people that you're referring to, Perry, have gone through that kind of miseducation. And later, as adults, even if they've been successful in their own businesses, they carry with them that guilt complex that was planted in them maybe by their teachers, that, oh my gosh, I made money. I should feel bad about that. I should throw it around, give it away, that kind of thing. Whereas they should be celebrating the fact that they were successful. And so I blame a lot of the problem on the miseducation of our public school system.
Throughout your book, Dr. Reed, faith plays a significant role in what you are trying to communicate there. And the Judeo-Christian history of the United States is clearly under attack. It's been almost antiseptically washed from textbooks. What do we do here, Coach?
Well, we've got to start, first of all, with ourselves. Each of us has more power over himself than he does anybody else or any other adult in any event. And so each of us has to be a person of the highest possible character because you've got to live and practice what you preach. And if you want to be influential and try to convince others of ideas of freedom and free markets, you better make sure that you uphold the highest standards. Because people don't want to sign on to a cause that they think is led by people who are interested in nothing more than self-aggrandizement. In my book, I talk a lot about the importance of faith and some incidences in American history that underscore how our ancestor colonists increasingly came to the view that we've got to keep the government out of matters of faith because it only corrupts them. Could I tell you a quick example of that?
What's that?
1657.
Yeah.
Something we call the Religious Magna Carta happened in New York, actually New Amsterdam, which later became New York. It was run by the Dutch at that time, and the Dutch governor issued an order to people in the colony to persecute Quakers. He didn't want any Quakers in the Dutch settlement of later New York.
Wow.
And in the town of Flushing, New York, a group of townspeople produced a document we call the Flushing Remonstrance, which was a rebuke of their governor, an open defiance of him. And they weren't Quakers, so they weren't trying to protect themselves. They were trying to protect the religious faith of others. They told the governor where he could stick that declaration. They said they will not abide by it. They will not persecute Quakers. And some went to jail over it until Stuyvesant's order was overridden by authorities back in Holland. So, that was an early stand on behalf of the colonists for the religious freedom of their Christian brothers. And that's why we call it the religious Magna Carta.
Wow. Well, it seems to be, faith in America seems to be under attack from the standpoint, let's just neutralize it. And where it shows up the most is in our civility. We've lost civility. We've lost it in public service. We've lost it in our language. I mean, even watching the hearing yesterday with Dr. Fauci, words were being used, and you kind of go, the president's using words, you kind of go, what's happened to us here? That all of a sudden vulgarity is acceptable in the public market.
Yeah, that disturbs me. It is one indication of many of an erosion of something very important, and in a word, personal character. Sometimes, in fact, most of the time, when I speak publicly, no matter what the subject may be, somebody in the Q&A period will raise their hand and say, Mr. Reed, what do you think the most important issue in the country is? And they expect me to say national debt, taxes, size of government, opioids, any number of things which are important. But I always say the number one issue is the same today as it always has been here and everywhere else, because everything depends upon it. And in a word, it is character. No nation has ever lost its character and kept its liberties. And so when you see people throwing around this filthy language with abandon, I see it as a sign of the erosion of character. There was a time not so long ago when Americans would say, there's a proper way to conduct yourself with others and to avoid being offensive. To bring attention to serious issues without trying to embellish it with filth. But we're losing that. And across the board, our character, I think, has suffered. That's why we're more prone to support ideas of socialism. A corrupt and immoral people will embrace stupid philosophies that are incredibly destructive of other people's rights.
Wow.
Socialism is a leading example.
30 seconds. What do you want people to take from your book?
Well, I hope people will read the book and say, wow, it's time for me to get re-energized for the ideas that made America exceptional in the first place. This is something to celebrate not just every 250 years, but every day, because we are truly exceptional in the history of the world. And what our founders did to put this country on a path of liberty and prosperity is nothing short of miraculous.
Dr. Reed, thank you for your time. You're fascinating. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, check out his book, Born of Ideas, and how the principles, faith, and courage have forged America. There's a picture of the cover of the book. You can pre-order it on Amazon. And check out his website, lawrencewreed.com. Dr. Reed, thank you, friend. Look forward to having you back sometime.
My pleasure. Thank you, Perry.
Hey.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
Your property demands equipment with more reliability, durability, and versatility built in. Kubota equipment is ready to get the job done right.
The world has a view, but God has the vision. That's what sets a Vision TV show apart, seen on theDove TV.
Welcome to The Vision, where the world has a view, but God has the vision.
The Vision is an inspirational talk show that elevates voices of faith through powerful conversations, highlighting changemakers making a difference.
My group, we are a collective of elder rights activists from across the nation.
Each episode blends heartfelt storytelling with practical insight.
To get up every day and just say, Lord, thank you. I'm here. If you woke me up today, you must have a purpose for me. And I think that's the thing.
Encouraging viewers